in the Western Conference, especially on the side, looking for the wild card spot. WC2, as the season goes along, might be the only spot available for these two. So head coach by Rick Tocchet, it's the Vancouver Canucks, just a point outside of the spot at 29, 24, and 11, fifth in the Pacific. It's Philip Hedl, Drew O'Connor, Jonathan Leaker-Maki, Marcus Pettersson, Tyler Myers. Again, Quinn Hughes is going to play tonight, so that probably puts him on the side with Phil Peronic as usually is. Elias Pettersson in the center with Dakota Joshua, Connor Garland. Pius Suter, Jake DeBrus, Keeper Sherwood, Teddy Bluger, Niels Höglander, Derek Forbert, Victor Mancini, usually on the back end, so one of them is going to be leaving out. Niels Amon might jump in as well. Kevin Lankinen will get the start off the back-to-back because Arthur Shelov's numbers are just not very good. For the Calgary Flames, they have a game in hand. They are a point ahead in WC2. They are 30, 23, and 10, head coached by Ryan Huska. That's Nazem Kadri, Jonathan Huberdeau, Matthew Coronado, Joel Hanley, Mackenzie Weegar, Michael Backlund, Joel Farabee, Marty Parspissel, Kevin Ball, Rasmus Anderson, Morgan Frost, Ryan Lumber, Blake Coleman, Kevin Rooney. Anthony Mantha's still injured on that side, but you got Connor Zeri and Adam Klapka, with Jake being a Braden Hall on the back end. Dustin Wolf will be getting the start of the game. He's coming off of the 1-0 shutout courtesy against the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday. Again, Calgary's been off since then. Alec, I know you had that trip across from Mexico. You've been starting to get your feet wet across now on the hockey play-by-play. I hope you had a good long break. I don't know if Cooper Hopkins is joining in on this one. If he is, it might be a three-cast, but I'm looking forward to this one.
Oh, thanks for having me back here, John. And good to have you back here as well. I missed you, man. It's been a while since we last did a game together. This game, of course, you could turn the excitement up to 10 when you have the wild card battles in pursuit between Calgary, Vancouver on the outside looking at St. Louis and Utah, potentially also involved in the second wild card battle. But that's not the only wild card battle you have. You have a 17 battle for the two Eastern Conference wild card spots between Ottawa, Columbus, Montreal, Rangers, Bruins, Red Wings, and Islanders. I don't know if the Islanders are going to get there, but this is the highlight right now. WC2 in the West. Of course, these two. How else would it be settled between a rivalry match between two Pacific Northwest teams?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to get to. I had a lot of notes prepped in as far as the intermission, so I might try to lead the intermission and get your thoughts. You had a 5-hour side of it for the trade deadline. You were an absolute trooper. I wish I could have joined in on that one. So I'll recap the biggest hits. We'll talk about the Canes. We'll talk about some other teams. We'll talk about what's going on across the league, the Avs as well, and some rumblings if you haven't heard some of those quotes. So there'll be a lot to get to in both intermissions. I'll have enough packed for that. So Alec and I should have a good time. If Cooper Hopkins does join in, he's definitely going to be joining in. We'll probably all be mixing in on the play-by-play side of it. I'm really excited to see what happens. Also, as we get into this, I have time before we get into the anthems. I just want to make this historical context note from Flames beat writer Darren Haynes. If you don't follow him, I suggest that you do, alongside for everybody. But Dustin Wolf this year is 22, 12, and 4. 252 goals against, 915 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. That's terrific. The Flames are dead last in goal scoring, 32 out of 32. So keeping track recently from 2016 to current, here's where the lowest scoring teams finished in the standings. 2016-17, Colorado was 30th. Again, that's last because Vegas didn't have their inaugural season to 2017-18. And the mix of let's continue, drafted 4th Cale Makar. Detroit finished 31st in 2019-20. Again, just outside of Seattle's inaugural season from 2019-20 when they drafted Lucas Raymond. Arizona, 21-22, Logan Cooley 3rd. Chicago, the last 2 seasons, 30th and 31st. So second, third worst when they drafted Connor Bedard and Artem Levshinov. But here is the big difference. The Flames are 14th out of 32 teams being last in goal scoring. That's why Dustin Wolf needs to be a Calder lock.
It's impressive how one goaltender can make a difference about what a team can do from being in a bottom cellar team to being a playoff contender when you have them scoring at dead last in the entire NHL. 164 goals to this point, yet they have only allowed 182 goals against it throughout the course of the season. The big reason being Dustin Wolf and that defensive structure. Had it not been for the likes of, say, Macklin Celebrini or Matvei Michkov, you'll be hearing Wolf's name a lot more. And if the Flames do make the playoffs, go ahead and put Dustin Wolf's name on the Calder Trophy right now.
Yeah, That's where I'm at too. Again, I'm trying to keep all the bias aside, considering how many Calgary Flames games covered over the years. But it really is that big of a difference. And again, I will say this: for those that are outside of Calgary saying that they wish they didn't have a goaltender like this because it's kind of slowing down the rebuild. No, Craig Conroy has already secured a lot of the stockpile on the chips. I thought the trade in for Farabee and Frost was excellent. He knows exactly what he's doing. The Calgary Flames are in a great spot. And keep in mind, in the mix of when they had Brad Treliving, you still have Nazem Kadri, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Mackenzie Weegar. When you have those signings like that, Alec, you're expected to be competitive.
Yeah, you have Huberdeau, Kadri, all those big names that you added through free agency. You want to compete for a spot. The big question is about how goal scoring is going to step up for Calgary, and they need it here because they've been involved in a lot of low-scoring games. And so far, as of note, as Sportsnet is previewing, Dustin Wolf has 3 shutouts to his resume and a .915 save percentage to add on to the save percentage and GAA. Those shutouts are huge, especially when you add on to the additions of Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost. You have to make those additions so as you could keep on building to a more competitive team. Not to mention the young players you have coming up in the future, such as Coronado, Pospisil Zeri, and in the future Zane Parekh to the defensive pipeline.
Yeah, Zane Parek's already killing everything inside the OHL. So, Alec, I'm going to get things started here, and then I'm going to leave us across for you in the second period. We'll take this one. Strap in, everybody. This should be a good one. We'll see what happens here for this WC2. Again, if Calgary ends up getting a point tonight and Vancouver wins in overtime, Calgary's still going to have the edge of the side because of the season series and the games in hand and things like that. But this is the last meeting of the season between the two. Again, this is meeting number 4. Vancouver trying to get a second win to split this season series, as we will get a look. I know Tyler Myers getting the package, but Quinn Hughes will be on the ice tonight.
Good, huge news for Vancouver. They get their offensive heartbeat back and their defensive heartbeat back.
So Hanley throws this one right at the net, and this will go back and across the end boards here. Hanley now for Marty Pospisil. Shove this one in the corner here for EP, the defenseman. As a rolling puck the other way. Now, Montreal gave it to Vancouver last night pretty good. It was an attempted comeback, couple goals late before the empty netter. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki experience in there yesterday. So now Vancouver really needs to play this as the most important game of the year. And you could say the same thing with the Flames, as Nazem Kadri now enters toward the left side of the ice. He's still circling in behind the net now, tied up and alongside with Huberdeau, but it's Kadri. He emerges up to the loop near the right side. Dot pass for ball. He could have walked in and shot. He should have shot it earlier, as Lankinen was able to close off that left side of the post. And here's a long flip now for Vancouver, as this will get settled back down the ice, and the icing gets waved off. Ball will now get an opportunity to pick it up. 18:45 left to go in this first frame. John here with you alongside Alec Nava and Genge, as this is flipped in by Blake Coleman toward the right side. Michael Backlund off the spin. As this is being picked up here, Quinn Hughes lost it for a moment. You know he's playing injured. He wanted to be in the Four Nations face-off. He just couldn't do it. This one bounces off the end boards here for the Dearborn, Michigan native, and Dakota Joshua, and chipped in away off the glass. As Brock Besser, he was not traded at the deadline. They wanted a first-round pick. He's just a rental for the rest of the year now as Flames go off sides.
Yeah, what's kind of a strange decision that Brock Besser was not dealt at the deadline. The common consensus was that he was going to be traded for a package that included a first-round pick. I also was surprised that Rickard Rakell didn't get traded at the deadline because I believe that there was a haul to be had in terms of the trade return between him or Besser for the two rebuilding / retooling teams.
Yeah, absolutely, Alec. And again, we're going to be talking a lot more about that in the first, a little bit in the second. There's a lot to do here today. Got a jam-packed show. Should be a good one. Pew Suter send this one near the net. It goes off the stick shaft. This is Dustin Wolf and Drew O'Connor near the right side boards. Right in the catching glove of Dustin Wolf. I'll make the save.
So easiest day for Dustin Wolf. As for Vancouver, they've been through a lot of turmoil on the forward side. Both teams have been ailing scoring-wise, especially among the forward side. Warren 74 goes for Vancouver. Warren 64 for Calgary. Vancouver's just one goal ahead of San Jose among I believe the bottom 5, maybe 10 side of goals for category. Still, if you count out for the points leader among forwards on Vancouver, it's still, to this very day, JT Miller, and he's a Ranger.
That says a lot. Alec, because that's been weeks, and it just seems woeful considering the amount of talent that they do still have. As Jonathan Huberdeau now on toward the left side red line, he sends the pass across, it bounces off the skate of Mackenzie Weegar, and we'll see if this ends up going the other way. Joel Hanley send this back around the backboards now for Huberdeau. We'll stop it near the left side blue line. Good pass across the middle here. The Flames, Matthew Coronado off the stop. Kadri, he fires away wide, but it bounced off a stick. Ryan Lomberg now, fresh in off the change. Here's a bundle of energy as Ryan Lomberg sends this one back to the point. This one deflect up off the zebra. Lomberg again finishes check. Calgary gets the steal. A delayed offside. They're going to have to check back up and allow the Canucks to get possession here with Mancini. Mancini now make the crisscross pass to Nils Aman. Aman now will throw this one in the end boards. Kevin Rooney will circle around the embankment. Teddy Bluger now with Aman trying to get the steal. Niels off the half spin. Send this one back to D. Shots are just one aside. Here's Filip Hronek into the traffic. It's deflected. It's loose in the middle of the slot. And Connor Zary on the fourth line side again. He's just trying to get his feet back underneath him. He's got some tremendous talent. We saw him score a very sick goal in overtime at the very beginning of the year for the Flames. And he's one of the big pieces going forward for Craig Conroy's squad. As this is now intercepted across the flaming sea. Teddy Bluger finds a way to get it in. Now ball. Send this one across. Picked up now for Blake Coleman. Coleman now tries the dipsy doodle, half spin, and this one is easily intercepted across the slot by the Canucks. Here's a touch pass. Here's opportunity for Niels Höglander. It was a good stick save for Dustin Wolf right in the middle of the circles. As this goes down here to the right side, that little inside-out positioning. And a rolling vulcanized rubber bounced up near the player's bench. And Pettersson almost falls into the bench, but he saves himself. As this goes to the left side of red line, he does a half tumble. It's Braden Paul. Now will slow up in his own end. Ryan Huska's squad should be able to take a change here as the defense look for the breakout right to left. Calgary and the home Reds. Marty Pospisil now on his backhand sent it toward the net for Sharon Govich. And that one just got knocked away. It's Pahal is the last man back. I'll flip this one in across the red line. And Kevin Lankinen is playing in back-to-back starts. You don't see that much more in the NHL, but he's got to do that because Shelov's numbers and they get a stoppage or profile, but they've been terrible. As this is now right in across the red line. They flip back down the ice by Mackenzie Weegar. Derek Forbert played the entry off the backhand. Hanley now tried to press in Vancouver with Philip Hedl. Try to get this one the other way. It's bounced in off of Lankinen and the defense. And Vancouver now try to go left to right in the road whites and the mix of the teal and the blue pants. As Mancini will send this one the other way. Now and across for Drew O'Connor. Stopping on the right side. There's a good hit for Zary, but he's going to lose the puck. This will allow the Canucks to walk right in. Cross pass, a diving play. Knocked it away, so Dustin Wolf didn't have to make a save. Jonathan Huberdeau now will take this one all the way to Mackenzie Weegar. Here's Nazem Kadri off of 1-on-2. He'll spin back. He's in the high slot now off the lead. It's ball. He can walk in and shoot. It's sent toward the net. Rebound, Lankinen it down. Couple of stick lifts. Kadri can't find it. And now Vancouver will go ahead and survive the danger for a moment. Calgary was that close. A hair's breadth away from scoring the first. It's only 2 shots apiece, but the traffic has been there as this is now flipped in away from Leaker Maki and put it around the end boards for Rasmus Anderson. He's a minus 22 for the Flames. He's much, much better than that, though, as this is sent back and around the end boards for Lomberg. Lomberg takes a hit to make the play, centered it. This bounces off of the stick of one of the Flames and flip back down the ice. This is bounced hand-eye out of the air. And now the Canucks try to gain the left side red line. Attempt to do it again. And this will be sent back around the end boards here. Jake Bean will get a chance to start this one again. 13:45. That's an unbroken action in the first. It got knocked away from Blake Coleman. And now the Flames do have reinforcements back. Mackenzie Weegar, nice play in his own end. Just get that out of there unhinged. Flip back down for Mancini. They've taken a shot away from the Flames right now. It's 2-1 as they'll send this one in the end boards. Kevin Lankinen will stop late for Forbert. Mancini off the reverse between his legs. Hanley gets the steal. Sends it toward the net. Lankinen went the wrong way. This is the left side red line now. Inside out move by Farabee. Blake Coleman slowly puts it around the end boards. Joel Farabee now from Coleman tries to get it, but he loses it off the lift. And now Vancouver try to race the other way. Jake DeBrusk chip this in off the end glass. Dustin Wolf. Good outstretched pass here for Farabee, but this will go back to the Canucks. Canucks will get settled now left to right off their defensive pass and flip it in. Dakota Joshua trying to get chased now around Ball. Ball quickly trying to push it the other way near the right side boards. Marty Pospisil throw it ahead. Good pace of this game, not a lot of shots just yet. Dakota Joshua gets ended right near the right side red line. Joshua still trying to pry with it, but it's Ball. Get the steal. Sharon Govich gets all turned around. And now Pettersson. Spin back and around his own end. It's Connor Garland. Look out for him. He's pretty dangerous here for the Canucks this year. As Pospisil now, the pin against the glass. Nazem Kadri against EP, the defenseman. Try to get this one again. Toward the right side of the blue line, picked off, and the Canucks were in the middle of a change. They'll get a chance to start in their own end. Quinn Hughes, Philip Peronic. Chip this one in off the glass. It's Mackenzie Weegar. Settle back around now for Bean. Use the right side of the boards here. Coronado, well, tied up with Hronek. It's the Canucks with the steal. He'll try to power move toward the net. We'll finally get a stoppage. Dustin Wolf will hold on.
After all that mayhem, it all ends with the Dustin Wolf save. Vancouver and Calgary are looking more having this game as a defensive slugfest, save for some chance by Nils Höglander and Philip Keto. With Höglander at the right circle, then you got Quinn Hughes sporting two Flames, trying to find the cross pass for Drew O'Connor. Then Philip Keto went down low to go up front on Wolf. Wolf was there each and every time, though that second time it was the Flames' defense that did most of the damage.
They're saying, Alec, I saw a little bit in the pregame, that this might be a 2-1 type of game. Are you thinking that might be the case?
It might, because goaltending is the name of the game for these two. They don't score a lot, but most of the marquee moments have been involving goaltenders here. The Canucks need to start Kevin Lankinen, because you mentioned about Artur Shilov's numbers being way down from his playoff series. But the second part is that this is essentially a playoff game for both the Canucks and the Flames. In any case, when a goaltender started the previous day and it's going back-to-back in this case, then it makes the most logical sense of starting Lankinen on back-to-back days. No days rest in between for him.
So for Shilovs, I'm just going to get down and dirty here again. He was the darling of the postseason last year. I know they got it to 7 games in the mix of the Edmonton Oilers, but they didn't win it. But Shilovs, this regular season's played just 9 games. 1-6-1, 385 goals against, and an 858 save percentage. That's just not going to get it done.
Absolutely not. It's most likely going to be third-string goaltender at this role, but you're elevated to backup goaltender because Thatcher Demko's injury may be more serious than we initially anticipated. We were talking about how the injury may affect him, and injury is going to be for the rest of the first round, then until a deep run, and then later. And then when he came back, he looked like a shell of himself, and he was not up to his former self, and it got him out of the contention for a Four Nations roster spot. Ouchies.
Yeah, Alec, they're saying, and Thatcher Demko said as much, that he might not ever be able to play pain-free goaltending ever again. And that's not a quote that you want to hear, especially considering over the years, Vancouver, all the big names that have been in and out. This has been a franchise that's still trying to find some success, but there's been a lot of revolving door pieces. Here's the entry now for the Canucks. Good interception here for Jonathan Huberdeau. He was on his P's and Q's on defense there. Hanley after starting his zone in. The Flames have just one shot. The shot board reads 3-1 officially now with 11:15 left to go in the first. 5th team shutout this season for the Flames when they won 1-0 Saturday against the Canadiens. Here's a slapper for Ball. This one will stay in off the rebound. Now Rasmus Andersson tried to let it go. This one hit the netting.
Off of the block, though, was right in front of his vision as he looked to go towards the, I believe, the right center or left center side. He looked for something from Matt Coronado right in front. There was nothing there for Andersson to fire a deflection right in front. But there was some sort of looks by Kevin Ball and Andersson from the point. Ball on a slapper.
Good call by you on Coronado on that deflection. I just saw that there. Third on the Flames with 16 goals this season. Face-off win. It's Michael back on the captaincy. That was a sneaky shot. Put in on goal. This is put back into on the backboards. Ball deflected. Backline trying to put it on the net. And this just hit everybody in front. It never got a piece of Lankinen. That was just bowling pins. As EP, the defenseman, send this one back and around the end boards and start this again as this is sent back down off the flip. The crowd's still buzzing again. We got a good mix of red and blue jerseys in the crowd. Again, it is a road game for Vancouver. They do have 4 of the next 5 at home, but not a lot of travel here to do today. But this is the biggest one off the back-to-back. Amen. Offsides are the Canucks.
They want to play the deep pass for the rush from Teddy Bluger. The linesman saw that perfectly. When you attribute this as to being a low-scoring game, we anticipated goaltending being a huge factor. At first it was Dustin Wolf's time to shine, then it's Kevin Lankinen's time to shine. Stopping a rebound right afterwards from Michael Backlund after the initial shot. And it looked like Joel Farabee got forced into the crease by Victor Mancini.
Yeah, Joel Farabee looked like he was stuck in there in a prison ride. He just couldn't get out of the blue part of the paint as he was getting roughed up. And now Morgan Frost, he's taken out of the circle here for Marty Pospisil. Try to get this one going. You can definitely see the size for number 76 on the side of the TV screen, but I think you guys listening in between the YouTube, Twitch, and radio side for the space as this one's sent in the other way. Flip back down the ice. This will be rolled all the way down. Pahom will see this icing get waved off. He's going to have to take a hit to make a play, and I think he was a little too nonchalant as Connor Garland got him to cough up the puck. Slap shot from the point, save Wolf. Falls back in amongst the crease, but he's got it before it crossed the line. And now Dakota Joshua wants a little extra of the Flames.
It looked like Wolf got forced right inside the net as the Canucks were tracking the puck. So after the initial shot from the left point by Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, as he looked for deflection from Dakota Joshua, Wolf stick that one away. Joshua was right in front. And as Joshua was banking this one, there might have been a stick that forced Wolf inside the net. So that was what the doing is and what the pushing and shoving afterwards.
We're going to see what we continue to get. I know that we don't have to do much of a scoreboard watch tonight because there's only 4 games. Our only other one in progress is the Wings and the Sabres. I know you covered the Wings the other day. If I was on there with you, Alec, I probably would have pulled out what's left of the rest of my hair. But the Red Wings currently have a 4-3 lead. Zach Benson with the latest. Josh Norris, I was awfully surprised the Dylan Cousin Josh Norris swap from Ottawa to Buffalo. If Buffalo and Josh Norris continue to stay healthy, the Sabres might get the better of that trade.
I believe the first round pick along with that trade might be the first round pick that was attached to the trade could be an acknowledgement that Norris might, and I mean might be the better player involved in that trade. What Ottawa is banking in is that Cousins rebounds to old form from 2023. And so far he's doing that. I just hope that Twitter didn't malfunction on the day in which I covered that game because it was going haywire all throughout Linus Olmark's 48 save masterclass.
Yeah, it might have been more so than everything else with the hack, but I get exactly what you were saying. And that's right in the mix of NFL free agency, a little bit of an ex-Twitter hack. Hopefully you got all of your particulars done and accounted for.
Yeah, everything is all good and ready to go. Nothing wrong yesterday with the Hurricanes win.
That was a big, big win on that. Again, I teased a little bit of a Stanley Cup final preview. I might do that in the second intermission, the teams that I'm thinking of. But that was a big eye-opener against the Bolts.
Yeah, and without Svechnikov and Orlov, nonetheless. The Hurricanes were down both players as they were game-time designations, but got the win in a huge and convincing way.
Let's check back into these two teams again. We're still waiting for the first goal. Hell, Alec and I might be saying that for a while. Shot board now is ballooned to 6-5. Flames have the edge of that, but again, the first goal might be the one that wins it between these two. That's what Sportsnet was profiling. As we got 9:25 left to go in the first. Connor Garland, good inside out off the backhand, gains the entry to the right side wing. He'll leave it off the drop, might take his change. Hanlon takes a hit to make a play. Kevin Rooney now has it on his right-hand side. He gets stick lifted for a moment by Philip Hedl. Hedl now out to the races with O'Connor. Good back check for Connor Zary. Off the pin against the boards, kind of saved their bacon there as Hedl's pass goes off the back of the skate of his teammate. And Rasmus Anderson will shovel this one ahead. Rooney will be the first to get to it and try to drop for Zary. It was a good idea, but it was just a little bit too wide. Now, go from left to right, go the Canucks. O'Connor. We'll see this one get flipped in by Dustin Wolf. We'll calmly make the play in behind the net. Flames get started from right to left. Number 91, Nazem Kadri. A 1-on-4. He gets blasted, and the stick gets fallen on the hand of Pettersson. And now the Flames, everybody pushing over their hand like Besser. They all want a piece after that Kadri hit. He got smoked.
Oh, now this is when the rivalry factor starts to settle inside with Nazem Kadri. He wanted to dump inside, but the Canucks, they went in there like a brick wall right onto him. And then it's all hell breaking loose from there on out. One after another, Mackenzie Weegar still wants to go. He's arguing with the player that checked Kadri in the first place. That was a walloping of a hit by the other Elias Pettersson.
That's a clean hit, Alec. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, clean hit. The puck was off Kadri's stick before the half-second mark. And when you look at the last time around between these two teams, the last meeting, we had a fight between Eric Brandstrom and Ryan Lomberg. These two dropped the mitts, and JT Miller had a fight with Kevin Ball. They know each other well, and of course, they hated each other. Lomberg got himself into 2 fights, in which he got a victory over Derek Forbert.
Yeah, so we might see things get a little more spicy there. Again, you always like to see those clean hits. I do notice Nazem Kadri, again, a lot of the times he will make plays, and he can do some spectacular stuff, but he's prone to take some hits. Right now, I see Zeri as the only one with the retaliatory penalty.
Yeah, I get that penalty, and that's a clean hit from Elias Pettersson on Nazem Kadri. Yeah, I get that as Connor Zary wanted to get a piece of the younger Elias Pettersson, and after that hit, this rivalry never dies. And of course, Zary, even if you know that there's going to be a penalty out of this one, I appreciate Zary for stepping up for his guy.
So Connor Zary sits in the box. He's the only one that's got a penalty now, and the first power play of the game belongs to the Vancouver Canucks. Shot board is 7-5. Again, Quinn Hughes, injured or not, he's that power play quarterback. That's going to make them so much more dangerous. Here's an opportunity near the right side dot. Garland send this one back for Elias Pettersson, the center man. As in off the half spin. Besser, Quinn Hughes. We'll set this one near the right side boards. Pettersson wide open near the right side dot. Hughes takes the wrister. This deflected right. The Wolf will hold on.
Yeah, Elias Pettersson had all that room for Quinn Hughes to pass towards. Hughes opted to go towards, I believe, Brock Besser on this pass, unless if I'm mistaken, for Connor Garland. He opted to go to Besser, and as he was looking towards the bumper where Garland is positioned, he goes back to Hughes, and Garland redirects Hughes' shot, in which Wolf tracks well with his eyes.
That's a really good save for Wolf, because honestly, I like that deflection for Garland was darn near perfect.
It was. Right spot on onto the top corner.
Kevin Rooney, now short-handed, trying to work his way on the backhand. He gets dispossessed by Hughes, and now Connor Garland gets another opportunity here. Will crisscross with Hughes. Hughes now still patient, leaves for Connor. 1 minute left to go in Vancouver's power play. Here's an entry now from Pettersson, leave for Hughes. Good work for Huberdeau. Gets the steal. Flames do have numbers on this short-handed if they go quick enough. Rooney now, here for Huberdeau. They'll skate backwards with it. So the Flames do an excellent job killing time here, and they'll get some changes. They have the puck. Kevin Ball will just slap shot this from 150 feet. Back in behind the inboard, Sharangovich pushes this in deep. Got to make sure you don't commit too many forward. As Quinn Hughes. Now send this one here for Philip Peroni. Kiefer Sherwood is the hits leader in the NHL. He's got the puck, and he's a hit leader by over 100. He's got a ton. As this one sent in for Rasmus Anderson, full length clear down the ice. And Calgary should be able to kill this whole thing off. That's an excellent penalty killing. 17-17 in the last 5 games for Ryan Huska's squad. 6:40 left to go in the first. Filipino gets dispossessed for a moment. This puck will go into the corner. And Pius Suter now full strength. Here's a deflection. Fake slap pass, one more. Another block. Suter again scores! Second rebound opportunity. And Dustin Wolf never saw it. It's Pius Suter with the first.
Calgary had that masterful penalty kill. They didn't allow Vancouver a chance after that redirect from Connor Garland afterwards. It was all Calgary on that penalty kill, but up until then, as Pius Suter got his own rebound back after the initial block from Joel Hanley, Suter aimed for the top corner and found the back of the net to light the opening red lamp of this game. We mentioned about who's going to score the first game. Well, it didn't take all of the first period to get the opening goal of this game. It was Suter on it getting his own rebound off the block from Hanley, and then it might have touched one of the Flames. It might have went off of Huberdeau on its way towards the top right corner.
That's Suter's 17th. He's got 17 goals, 14 assists, 30 points, and a +2. Honestly, dare I say, Alec, he's having a pretty darn good year.
He has. As a fourth liner, he's having himself a solid season in Vancouver's depth chart. As a fourth liner at 13:33 of the first period. We talk about what it would take for Vancouver to get their forward scoring once again. How the forwards would do after the trade that JT Miller went to the Rangers. How they would do from here on out. Well, there might be one answer. Do we see more?
Now toward the right side from Morgan Frost. The Flames have possession. They're trying to get this next goal. Here's an opportunity here. Bean lets it go. Good glove save. Lankinen near the right post.
And towards the far side, Jake Bean was cruising down at the near half boards and looked towards that far side. It's a low percentage shot, but it's doable from when you have that wide open net. You only have the glove to beat. And with Pospisil setting the screen, he wanted to redirect this towards the top side. There might have been something to give there for Pospisil towards the top right corner, I would believe, but it was a smart shot by Bean.
And Lankinen, again, it's not too much removed from the extension that he got, worth about $5 million plus a year, which seems like a big number, but honestly, it's not, because the 1A, 1B that they want to mix in between Demko, Shelovs, and Lankinen's been pretty good. I'm glad he got that extension because he deserves it. As Connor Garland, this one flipped into the right side boards. Dustin Wolf not going to get the shutout today. They've been out for Kevin Ball off the one flip. That was almost a great play there for the Flames. Which got to get back on side though. Rasmus Anderson will just like to throw it in instead. I'm not sure why. This one's picked off there for a moment for Nazem Kadri and a hands in the air. I guess it's going to work out because the Flames are going to the power play.
So what comes around goes around, and that looked like the easiest tripping call we're going to get here in this game. It appears Connor Garland is going to be the guilty party after Suter got the opening goal. Series-winning goal in the first round against Nashville. He gets Vancouver onto a frenzy among the Canucks fans that made the trip here to Calgary.
So Dustin Wolf, 6 of 7. Kevin Lankinen, 8 of 8 on his back-to-back starts. Again, for Lankinen's numbers, just for reference here, 22, 13, and 7. 253 goals against, 905 save percentage, and 4 shutouts. Honestly, Alec, all things considered, I don't know if you could ask any more from Kevin Lankinen.
I don't think you could. He's having himself one of his best seasons of his career. Not since when he landed into Nashville when he had a nice season, when he was backing up Juuse Saros. Now you could say that this is his first full-time season in which he has been the primary starter of a team. And he's been going solid. And I'm looking at Lankinen being one of the better goaltenders among Finnish netminders in the league. And given that his company with Juuse Saros in that category, and even though Saros has not been seeing the numbers that he's been having, this is an opportunity for Lankinen to step up. And with the Four Nations face-off with Finland, he rose to the occasion as Finland's number one netminder statistically.
Yes, he did, Alec. That's a good call by you. I'm looking at this. I know the Red Wings would still be 4 points out, but man, oh man, what a night in homecoming essentially against a former team. Patrick Kane just scored again. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists, and a +2 on 5 shots as the Red Wings have a 5-3 lead. He gets his 17th on the power play from DeBrincat and Raymond.
Yeah, when the Red Wings need to have something to do here after that trade deadline, when they trade away Joe Veleno to the Blackhawks for Craig Smith and Peter Mrazek, I don't know if either one of them are needle movers, and the popular consensus is that they're not. But the reliance on top-end talent goes to show how good they are among the top 6 forward core. Raymond, Larkin, Kane, DeBrincat, you name it among them. And those key forwards are still going to give Detroit a chance until the very end. I just wish they did more at the trade deadline, though.
Yeah, we can talk more about that as well, maybe even off the scenes, Alec, because I feel like I have a lot to say, a little burning desire. This one deflected now for Huberdeau. Here's a good touch pass for Nazem Kadri. Morgan Frost will collect near the left side. Frost. And on the high slot now for Mackenzie Weegar. Calgary really wants to get this even on the power play. Their 18th penalty kill for Vancouver's been good. It's top 5. As this one now for Kadri near the bumper. Huberdeau sends this one across. And this one, I think, bounces out of play with 1:31 left to go in Calgary's power play.
Yeah, it did bounce out of play. There was a touch pass intended for the slot in which that was deflected out, and that's what resulted in this stoppage. But there were some looks. There was one at the right circle that could have been a one-timer or fired home, unless the defenseman got back on time. Jonathan Huberdeau tried to make the cross pass in front for Morgan Frost and was coming in hot, right in front of Kevin Lankinen. That bounced out, and we have the face-off.
This bounces all the way down. The Canucks able to get the clear successfully. Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, again, those were the pickups for the Philadelphia Flyers. I think it made a lot of sense for Conroy. Again, you lost Justin Kirkland and Anthony Mantha for the year. Justin Kirkland was kind of the shootout specialist for the Flames, if you can believe that. He was absolutely money. Hanley now. Send this one across the way for Weegar. This is a good deflection. Weegar's got to get back on his horse now. Here's an opportunity for Kiefer Sherwood. Excellent penalty killing for both of these teams right now, as it's 4:15 left to go in the first. Morgan Frost sends this one across. And off the drop pass, Coronado. Now for Rasmus Andersson. One more time for Matthew Coronado. Here is a hold and a wait here. Coronado near the right side bumper. He wants the puck. Rasmus Andersson lets it go to the screen, and this one is saved by Lankinen's left pad. Sent back down, bounced off of Rasmus, and Rasmus now off the spin back on his own end as O'Connor able to press him back up behind the net. 3:45 left to go in the first round here with you alongside Alec Nawani and Genge. Here is Farabee. This is a tight pass and across the blue line, and Rasmus Andersson can't hold. Everybody got to check back up as Coleman now try to race for the puck. Multiple-time Stanley Cup champion with the Lightning. Race the other way now is Farabee. He's got to be on the edge of his shift there as Elias Pettersson will go ahead and give chase for it. And now it's a good penalty kill there for the Canucks. Farabee sends it across Sharangovich. And this is bouncing off the stick and toward the right side. Hanley keeps this one in. Farabee now trying to get inside out, positioning the Brust will pin him against the wall. Connor Garland takes a hit to make a play. Flames still battling for this puck with 3 minutes left to go. And the first shot board is 10-7 Calgary, but they're down by a goal courtesy of Hughes Suter. As this one's now chipped into the left side blue line and off the spin. It's Quinn Hughes. He got smoked and along the right side boards. Got to be careful there. Kevin Rooney now slowly gets it the other way. Hanley walks in. This slap shot blocked for Marcus Pettersson. Beautiful deflection there as this is settled back down for Vancouver. And around the end boards, Brock Besser wanted it, but this was chipped from the right side red line and sent back around the embankment. Hanley flip this one down. And now this will be EDP, the defenseman, drop this one back around the other way. Chipped in off the glass, and stolen the left side red line by Calgary. And off the spin and turn, that's Nazem Kadri. He drew the latest tripping, but Calgary didn't score on it. Ball. Full stutter step. Start this one again for Rasmus Andersson. It springs. Kadri scores! What a goal!
Oh, he undressed Kevin Lankinen on his way to the net. What a pass. What a setup. Oh, Lankinen even had a chance in stopping that. Kadri went backhand, forehand right around him and tied this game up at 1. Wow.
That is unreal. What a pass, as you said, for Rasmus Andersson. Right up the gut, backhand, forehand, dipsy doodle around Lankinen, dropping his jock strap, and the Flames tie this one up at 1. That is nasty for number 91.
Make this a goal of the year candidate, please. I can't stop watching this enough.
Man, we've seen Nazem Kadri score some special goals. Hell, you remember the one earlier in the year, like where he hurdled over the defense to stay on his feet and score. He's got his 23rd from Rasmus Andersson the ball, but hit the replay button on that one, please, as this is now picked off by the Flames. That's got to give them some jump. Morgan Frost, now Marty Pospisil, toward the right side dot, and off the spin, Marty trying to hold this one on the Flames. He just can't do it. Now and across the center ice line. This will be slowed down by Kevin Lankinen. And again, he tried to poke check Nazem Kadri. He didn't win the race there. That was a tuck in, putting the baby right to bed. Now Pospisil near the right side corner here for Connor Zary. Shots are 11-7. Again, it's Pew Suter and Nazem Kadri with the goals as we sit tied at 1. And we get a hand pass.
Clear as day on the hand pass. The Nazem Kadri goal was dangalicious. And I remember that goal against the Penguins last year in the Mika Kiprusoff jersey retirement when he went around to the fence and then cut in front. Well, this is a different version of it. This time he goes inside, but then and fakes out Kevin Lankinen entirely. Marcus Pettersson was late to the puck, and he was caught up on that play. No chance for Pettersson to recover.
They just showed on the Sportsnet side the last time these two teams met, or at least in one of them, on December 31st, and they said for New Year's, it was a mix of Nazem Kadri with the game-winning goal on New Year's Eve, as this one slipped back down. Picked up now in a 1-1 game, it's Ball, the former New Jersey Devil here for Connor Zary. Zary's still on my bingo card as far as anyone that can do damage. I know he's still getting his feet underneath him, but got to watch out for number 47, especially in the future. I think he could be an automatic 30-goal scorer. That's how much I think of him. As this is picked up down to the right side for Mackenzie Weegar. Coronado. This is a good touch ahead here for Kadri. He's back out there. Huberdeau. Kadri. Short side chance. Big rebound. This one's thrown in the corner. Now Hanley now. We'll send this one the other way. Again, when number 91 gets going, it turns the Flames into a completely different team. As this is picked up off the stutter step. Good move. And Calgary will send this one in as Coronado. At least be able to keep this at a 1-1 game. I think Calgary would take that, and Vancouver probably would off the back-to-back as well. As this is a bounce and off the left side boards, down to 2 seconds, and that ends it. After one, it is one apiece. Kevin Rooney, we'll see if we get any extra punching at the end of the period, and now we're going to get a little bit of a scrum. This one's not done yet, Alec.
No, it's not. Just when you think it's over, you have one more surprise for you between these two Pacific Northwest rivals. Of course, the rivalry runs deep between them. They saw each other in the playoffs. 04, 2015, Calgary won both of those times. 6 games between the Stanley Cup finalist Flames in 04, the Cardiac Flames in 2015. But Martin Pospisil got into it with Nils Aiman at the end of it. Kevin Rooney in the mix of it as well. We see that the officials have broken all of them up just in the nick of time before this could get any worse. Of course, these are rivals, and they hate each other. And given that this is essentially a playoff game for both of them, the stakes are raised to a maximum.
Yes, it is, Al. I can't wait for you to take control of the second period and see what we get. Now, I do have a lot prepared. I don't want to sit and wait for Cooper because I already got you in here, so that way we can go ahead and just have this intermission conversation because I don't know if he's going to get here or not, but I got a lot prepared. I know you probably covered some of this stuff on the deadline, but let's just go through some of these quotes. Again, this is via the Adam Gold Show in North Carolina. This is Rod Brendamore on Mikko Rantanen. If you haven't heard these quotes, I got a lot of stuff here for you today between multiple teams. So on Mikko Rantanen, Rod Brendamore says this: there's not been one guy that has left Carolina because he didn't like it here, but that was Mikko, and he didn't like it. When he showed up, he said, there's 4 teams I'll play for, and you're not one of them. When he talks about other players, there's 28 other teams that he wasn't going to. Should we have known that before we signed him? Jake Getzel would have stayed if we offered him the contract that he wanted, but we didn't. A couple more for you. All the other guys that walked out of here, I'm afraid it's because they got paid a lot more money than we were offering. They wanted to stay. And then the last one for you. Carolina wasn't for Mikko Rantanen. I appreciate that he let us know, says Rod Brendamore. But as an organization, we probably should have known that before we made the deal. What are your thoughts, Al?
Yeah, if Mikko Rantanen was not wanting to stay in Carolina, I think it should have been known before the deal was made. The general consensus was on the Rantanen front that either he was going to be A, used strictly as a rental by the Hurricanes, or B, traded to another team in the midst of the trade deadline. It just feels like one of those signs in which you feel like you're stabbed behind your back if you're Carolina, because you go and get the forward that you want to get to add to your scoring touch I get that he has been rather off with Carolina with 6 points in 13 games. There still was a lot of season left to build a budding chemistry with Sebastian Aho, who was his countryman, by the way. And the fact that Rantanen said that it has to have Hurricanes fans getting stabbed in the back at such. Extension talks fell apart with Colorado, and I know that Colorado is not wanting to pay him anything above $12 million per year. Rantanen turned down an offer that was $12.5 million per year, and he settled for $12 million per year. I felt that he was looking more towards the fit and the system that benefits Rantanen himself, one that's more designed for offense, and that better suits Dallas in his opinion. With Carolina, I still felt like that there could have been something with Aho as countryman, but it's not worst case scenario for Carolina. You do get a good haul return between Logan Stankoven and the 2 first-round picks. I get the Hurricanes are a little worse off now, but they'll be all right in the future.
You just went into the second point I was going to bring up, and I'm glad you did, because damage control, how do the Hurricanes do? Alec and I probably think they did quite well. So January 24th, that's when Carolina first got Rantanen from Colorado. March 7th, he's already gone. So Logan Stankoven, Taylor Hall, Mark Jankowski, Niels Junthorpe prospect, conditionals first in 26 and 28, a third in 26 and 27, all in. Out for Carolina at that time, Mikko Rantanen, Marty Natchez, Jack Drury, a second and a third in the upcoming draft, and a fifth in 2026. All things considered, I think they did quite well. But I will say this is the one last thing for Carolina, Alec, and I know you know this well. It's not an argument for both of us. But Marty Natchez is an excellent player. For those that thought he was a little bit handcuffed in Carolina, again, in that system, we can argue that, and I think we both agree. But you can't tell me Marty Natchez isn't a great player, because look at what he's doing with Colorado, and Nathan McKinnon elevates other players.
He's perhaps the most underrated forward in the NHL, bar none. And given the fact that people are going to mention Brock Nelson, Roope Hintz, I'll argue Natchez on the basis that he is a super talented player. I don't know about the handcuff by the Carolina system part, but he was great on that second line. And now that he's thriving on the top line of Colorado, he's unlocked another level to his game. And I'm happy he's doing well in Colorado.
So other highlights across the deadline, and then we'll go in a little more alongside of the Avalanche. Want to hit this Tampa Bay Lightning deal. So Tampa Bay gets Oliver Borkstrand and Yanni Gourde, and defenseman Kyle Quinn in a fifth round in 2026. Seattle gets Michael Eyssimont, a second round, and a first in 26-27. I know it might seem like a lot to pay, but we already know that Tampa's deep. I know Carolina gave them the business in the last time out, but I really like those additions there to bring Yanni Gourde back and get Oliver Bjorkstrand. That might be just what Tampa Bay needs to try to get a real push at this for the Stanley Cup playoffs.
While Bjorkstrand and Gourde haven't made an instant impact on Tampa right now, what other trade deadline acquisition hasn't made an instant impact? Of course, it can start off slow, but down the line, when these two get acclimated into the lineup, I think Tampa will be just fine in the future. Bjorkstrand can fit into the second line with Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli. As of right now, John Cooper's having Nick Paul onto the lineup. Honestly, you could alternate between Paul and Bjorkstrand on the second and third lines. You will not go wrong there. Gourde is back onto his familiar role in Tampa, third line center. That was the role that he had between Barclay Goodrow and Blake Coleman. And now he's back on his familiar role. He thrives in Tampa in that spot. He thrives in Seattle in that spot. What else is there to say than he's going to thrive in Tampa on the third line role spot?
Yeah, I agree. You bring back in the familiarity. You already have a really deep team. And I think it's going to work out well once everything gets going. The real shock for me, again, this was when I was doing the Sharks game on that side. So the Florida Panthers get Zeph Jones via retention, but they also had Brad Marchand. Again, they have to lose Spencer Knight to the Chicago Blackhawks. And Spencer Knight had a hellacious first game where he stopped, like 39 of 40 and ended up getting the win. But also for the Florida Panthers, I know I sent this across to Alec. We didn't get a chance to talk about it in public yet, but Aaron Ekblad out for 20 games courtesy of PEDs. And that automatically puts him, if you're keeping track at home, Alec, all the way out through Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, out until Game 2 in that sense, because he got suspended with 18 games to go in the Panthers season. But that acclimates to him trying to take care of a previous injury that he was trying to treat. But There are some substances you just can't use. However, I think he is trying to contest that it was an act that he mistakenly took an illegal substance. That's what the feeling I'm getting. What sparked these two trades for Seth Jones and Brad Marchand is that the Panthers moved Matthew Tkachuk to the LTIR because of his injury from the Four Nations faceoff. The Panthers expect that he'll be back for Game 1 of the playoffs. Jones was a necessity because they need to fill in that huge gap that was missing at second pairing right shot defenseman. Because Brandon Montour is now Seattle, it benefits Florida that Jones is under team control for 4 more years after this season. Marchand is for the rest of the year because he's an impending free agent. But this was a shock. The Bruins wanted an impasse in contract negotiations, and Marchand wanted an extension. The Bruins were not wanting to compromise, and Marchand told them, the only team I wanted to get traded to is the Florida Panthers. The Bruins granted his wish, and that left them with no leverage, just a conditional second-round pick in return.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. Again, you mix those demands. Again, it didn't seem like Brad Marchand was asking for a whole heck of a lot done. Sweeney wouldn't bend. And now, potentially, when things really get going and you get Tkachuk back and all that, hopefully, you can have a mix of Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand, and Matthew Tkachuk. And that's not going to be fun to play against.
No, absolutely not. You speak of Marchand being nicknamed the Rat. We could possibly name this line the Rat Line, true to its name.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I will want to mention one last thing, and then I'll save the rest of it for the second intermission, because I do have a tease that I want to leave for that. But the Colorado Avalanche, Alec, a lot has changed for them in this season. So I'm going to go through this briefly, and then we can have some thoughts on it. So in Jimmy Vesey, Charlie Coyle, Brock Nelson, prospect William Dufour, defenseman Ryan Lindgren, Eric Johnson, goalies Mackenzie Blackwood on the 5-year extension of 2030, Scott Wedgwood, and prospect Nicholas Kempf. Out, forwards Callum Ritchie, Yusuf Parsonen, Casey Middlestad, William Zellers, Giovanni Smith, defenseman Calvin Hahn, Oliver Shillington, and goalies Alex Kurgiev and Justice Onanen. The last thing for me, in a 2026 fifth, out 2 seconds and a 4th rounder in this draft, a first in 26-27 on the conditional from the Nelson deal, and a 3rd in 2028. And oh, by the way, Valerie Nichushkin is back. He had a hat trick in his first game back with Colorado. Keep him on the straight and narrow. But that was a lot for Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic to do. I know there's been a lot of moving and revolving chairs, but the Avalanche look really good, and I think that they had an excellent deadline as well.
One of the key winners of the deadline, of course. They had to deal with the loss of Mikko Rantanen to Carolina, followed by Dallas, but they more than made up for it by getting Natchez, Nelson, Coyle, and all those names that you mentioned. The Avalanche look like a team that's on the playoff fringes to being a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. Whoever takes the Central Division between the Stars or Avalanche out of these two, I think the Stars and Avalanche are going to meet each other for a Western Conference final spot. I get the sentiment of the Winnipeg Jets and them adding Luke Schenn and Brandon Tanev, but the Stars and Avalanche did a lot more, but namely the Avalanche, they did the most to try to get themselves to a potential second Stanley Cup. This is going to be very tight and to the wire between these two.
I'm glad you said that in between those two teams, Alec, because that's part of the stuff that I'll tease in the second. As far as some milestones, I got another quote for you, and I'll give you a Stanley Cup Finals prediction in the second intermission as well. So I might be hedging my bets a little early, gentlemen, but I'm going to leave that as a tease for the second. Just glad to hear your voice again, Alec. How was your trip? How was the deadline? What interesting things did you do? And yes, by the way, as we get in the next couple of weeks, if you're still locked in for that opening day between the Dodgers and Tigers, I'm still on board for that.
Oh yeah, it's still locked in for opening day on the 27th. The trip was good in and of itself. Went to visit family over at Puebla. We went to visit this town called Zacatlan. It's a small town over in the central side of Mexico. But we went in towards the central part of the area, and we got to see a factory that makes clocks. This factory's been running for over 100 years, by the way. But we got to visit some of the key moments of what made this factory famous. and the history of the clocks that they produced over the past. And also, throughout this time, we also went to some of the forts over at the northeastern side of Puebla, and also around the town as well. So a lot to see. Just hoping that the next trip it would be, I don't know.
Still got plenty of time before all that stuff goes on. Again, did Patrick Kane just score another one? Because now I see 6-3. And all I'm seeing is number 88 putting on a circus here. My goodness.
Well, actually, it was Marco Casper with his second of the night. So he's the 6th Detroit goal.
Good.
But it's Kane's 5th point, by the way. He has a secondary assist.
Good Lord. But, gentlemen, this game here is really important if you're a Blues fan. And as you've been commentating, I've been going through the next few games that each of them play. What I am hoping for in this is that Vancouver wins outright. They do not go to overtime. Calgary does not get a point because tomorrow the Blues play the Penguins, who, while still a challenge, they're on the downslide right now. If Vancouver wins tonight, they'll have 71 points. If the Blues win tomorrow, they too will have 71 points. They will be tied. The Blues will be ahead of the Calgary Flames for the moment. But the Blues are going to get a little bit of help in Calgary's next game because the Flames' next opponent after the Canucks are the Avalanche, who have been playing at a lethal clip.
Yep. I'll be covering that game on Friday as well, as far as Flames and Avalanche, because usually when those two teams get together, regardless of the scoreline, there's always fireworks, and they still have one more meeting. Again, as you mentioned, Ian, it does not get easier for there, but when I last talked to you in the mix, Ian, we were kind of thinking, and I was not hedging my bets too far ahead, but I said, look out for St. Louis. I know they don't have games in hand, but if they can just pick it up a little bit, and then boy, oh boy, as you talk about, they're right there in the race right now.
Now, the only thing that Vancouver right now is actually in the best position in this scenario because their next opponent is the Blackhawks, who on any given night may surprise you, but more often than not, a superior team like the Canucks will beat the Blackhawks. So you can't really hope for a victory from them.
No, but as you gentlemen know, especially on the side of it, Alec, you have to take care of your own business. You can't expect teams to help you out this time of year.
No. You have to expect the unexpected. And these types of games could be on the horizon if you're not careful. At this time of the season, the witching hour could come supreme. If you remember from 2 seasons ago, when the Panthers and Penguins were battling for the final wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, all the Penguins had to do was beat the Blackhawks, and they're in the playoffs. Guess what happened? The witching hour. The Blackhawks, in the second to last game so far of Jonathan Toews' playing career, beat the Pittsburgh Penguins and kept them out the playoffs, allowing the rise of the Panthers as we know them today.
Yeah. I don't think there's any bigger one than that. Again, I'm thinking about the wins last year as the Capitals with the wins in regulation get the tiebreaker over Detroit. They get in. Again, I think that was a few years ago, Alec, that Buffalo was a point from making the postseason. And then ever since then, it's just been completely downhill for the Sabres. And I was going to say the same thing about the Red Wings, but at least they're winning today because if the Red Wings would have lost this one, they would have dropped 7 in a row.
And they needed this win in any way possible. Because in March, in the last season and this season, March has not been kind to the Red Wings. They needed this game in any way. Of course, I know it's against the Sabres, but you have to take what you can here. Yes. And the starting point here is against Buffalo. Build some positive momentum on the way to a potential playoff berth. I know you're sticking with your current core, but you need this.
So, gentlemen,
Go ahead.
I'll try to interrupt real quick, but I just looked ahead. The Blues have to keep pace with the Canucks until the 20th. That will be the last time they face the Canucks in the regular season. So they have to either get ahead or keep pace with them until then.
That's a big meeting on the last part of it. I was going to say to your point, Alec, I'm going to let you take over here in a minute. You talk about the March Madness for the Red Wings. They haven't made the postseason since 2016, and from 2018 on, in between March, they've lost 6 up to 12 in a row all the way through March and April. It's not kind at the end of the year where they fall apart.
Not the type of madness that you want for if you're the Red Wings. So you have to take a role reversal if you want to speak of March Madness. Which, speaking of March Madness, I want to give a shout out to the High Point Panthers men's basketball team on the first ever trip to March Madness with the win of the Big South Championship.
I'm so glad I saw the video on the side of it. Happy for you on that side. I'd like to be able to see that again. I was trying to get Oakland back in the tournament, but they ended up calling a timeout on themselves with 2 seconds remaining and taking out the game-winning layup. So I'm still salty for that, but I'm happy for High Point.
Oh, that's got to sting about Oakland taking the timeout to erase the layup. Thanks, John. I don't know if I'm going to cover High Point's opening game in March Madness. I'm hoping I will, though whoever we face, I don't know how good our chances are of winning in the first round, but let's go and have fun, boys. Let's do this.
Win the round, get in, at least win a game, feel really good, and you remember that for the rest of your life. Hell, just making the tournament you remember for the rest of your life. You take it away in the second.
Here we got both benches being occupied here to start the second period, and here we go. Tied at 1. I'm Alec Nava alongside John Ott and Ian Genge. It is a goal scored by Pius Suter for Vancouver, and it's all even up thanks to Nazem Kadri's highlight reel red lamp. And this one dumped all the way down. I believe the arm is going to be up in the air for the icing. And it is.
So immediately we already get a hit and a stick tied up in between Michael Backlund and Mancini as we had that icing.
Yeah, these two know each other, the teams. Although Backlund's more of the old guard, Mancini more of a younger defenseman. He was part of the return package in the Miller trade that got Philip Keedle involved. So all of the kid line is now gone with the Rangers, with Kakko with the Kraken and Keedle with the Canucks. Lafreniere is the only one left on the Rangers among that kid line. Right point, slapper, stopped by Wolf, and he will scoop it up from the ice and cover.
It's crazy, Alec, that you mentioned that, and I agree with you, but you look at that and say, there was so much promise for the New York Rangers in the kid line, but for whatever reason, they just can't develop the players that they draft.
Lafreniere was the most successful example of a player that they drafted living up to their pedigree. Albeit it's been taking a lot more time than initially anticipated. Shesterkin is the success. Ryan Lindgren, success, even for his regression this year. It's still a success because he's developed into a high-name defensive defenseman, and part of the return package they got from the Rick Nash trade in which he went to Boston. Off the faceoff, Wolf saves this as this goes to the left of him, and he covers again.
So thank you to Sportsnet for this stat as Alec and I were chatting. 1 in 6 are the Canucks off back-to-backs. That has really got to get better if they want to hold a playoff spot.
And that's why they need this win here. The Canucks, they know they have a losing record in the second half of back-to-backs, so they need to get this game to reestablish themselves into the Western Conference playoff picture. Up at the point, it is Quinn Hughes, who walks around Huberdeau. Hughes getting this down towards Gretzky's office on a tie-up with Rasmus Andersson. Hoglander couldn't track it, Kadri can, and he will backhand this one to center. It's still for grabs. Kevin Ball bats this thing in deep. From the far corner, it is Vancouver picking it up. DeBrusk chipping this with the far half boards, and the first one on the retrieval is Mackenzie Weegar. And one of the better utility defensemen who can play both sides, and is very good at playing both sides of the ice. Suter backhands this backwards, and Vancouver gets reset. Forward over the penalty box doors on this chip in front for the dump, and Hadley will stick this over to the far half boards. A little slip up, but Vancouver will skate around with this puck some more, and Garland fires it through the far side. Wolf can't slow down. Helping him, though, is one of his teammates. Oh, a bad pass. That was intended for Suter, and that allows the Flames to scoop it up for their own end. Mackenzie Weegar fakes the pass and then delivers it up front for Connor Zary. Picked up by the Canucks as they look to get back the other way. Here's Coleman with it, but he had it for a split second before it's picked up by Vancouver. Not for long, though, as the Canucks have it one more time. Hughes, who does a full 360 and then moves it up through the far side of the ice. Closing in now are the Canucks as they look for a lane. Right point, quick shot. That might have been on a piece up by Dustin Wolf. It hit the side of the cage. So close to find the back of the net. Hughes almost lost it for a moment. Pursued by Coleman. Now over to the slot. In pursuit is Marcus Pettersson. Pettersson fires and that one is up. Marcus Pettersson tried to go after this puck. Could not be caught off for a little while though, but Marcus Pettersson is still there. Taken away by Vancouver, or actually Calgary. Philip Keto could not get up to this puck. And Blake Coleman wanted to get to the net. That puck didn't ever reach him. From the far corner, this is now scooped up by Rasmus Andersson. They like to shoot, and Lankinen made the save. Rebound in front! Lankinen went coast to coast for another one. Near corner this time around, as Andersson is still going after the puck. Andersson had to take it away from him, and the Canucks will have to reset. And they get this in deep. Picked up by Huberdeau from his own blue line. Huberdeau still tracking. Huberdeau out in front, poked away. A race for this puck is won by the Canucks. It is Marcus Pettersson. Firing it is in deep as Wolf plays out of his own crease. Calgary resetting as they fire this towards the neutral zone and is scooped up by Forbert. Sent backwards and the Flames want to get something onwards but can't. It's the Canucks resetting with this puck. Derek Forbert calmly makes his way in, flipping it over to the far corner. Tracking this puck now is one of the Canucks, and now Forbert slaps his one. The rebound in front, and two saves there by Wolf, and nearly was a turnover, but it's picked up by Pospisil. Martin Pospisil dumped this in from behind the red line. No icing as Sharon Gage was first there. The Flames hold it. It is Pospisil. Pospisil wants to go to Frost. He is cut off, and it's clear. It's all the way out. And the Flames will look to reset as it's Pahal. Pahal through the middle, sends it backwards over to Bean, and now back for Pahal, who couldn't reach out for this puck. And this deflection didn't make it all the way through from Pospisil. Marcus Pettersson, or actually Derek Forbert, resets. He'll handle this one from his own blue line. Hoglander for the near half boards. Around Pahal. Hoglander fires and is turned away by Wolf. The Flames look to clear. The Canucks hold it for a split second, and then DeBrusque swings and fires it over to the near corner again. Still it's up for grabs. The Flames clear one more time. They move with the ice with numbers. At the left point, deep shot, deflected, and Lankinen made the stop on Nazem Kadri. Another chance. That was a wild opportunity that Huberdeau was there in front. Elias Pettersson, the forward, wearing the number 40, tied up at the red line, and the Flames will reset with the puck. A tie-up at the Canucks blue line to delayed offside here, and the whistle blows, 4:50 into the second.
So you got Rasmus Andersson there, Alec, just off of the rebound. From a severe angle, gets thrown on the front of the Nazem Kadri up a long chance in the point, as that one just misses off of a severe angle as well. So chances from crazy chances on the side of the ice, from all the way to the left, all the way to the right. And these goalies have had to keep their head on a swivel, but especially Lankinen.
Not often do you see goals from sharp angles like that, like what just Rasmus Andersson fired in from. But that was the case last night when Seth Jarvis and Jordan Martinook scored from impossible angles that surprised Andrei Vasilevsky. Through the far side, this puck is going to go all the way down for the ice. Lankinen will play this one out. Oh, a near turnover. And the Canucks saved their own bacon. That could have been disastrous. Connor Garland's tied up by Joel Farabee. Quinn Hughes will pick it up from his own end. Got it across to Hronek and then back to Hughes. No penalties to speak of in the second period. But we almost start his second period, potentially on a 4-on-4 because of the scuffle at the end of the first period. Hanley tried to backhand it away from danger. His teammate helps him out. Pospisil. This one takes a skydive up for the air before it comes down to rest, where it's picked up by Keto. Moved up, and that's Hoglander, I believe, and then gets this down deep. O'Connor in pursuit. The Flames at their own defensive end looking to start up. Through the far side is carried in deep. Kevin Rooney. Severe angle shot is turned away by Lankinen, and the Canucks will scoop it up. Cato tried to walk his way around center, but gets pickpocketed and the puck disagrees with him. Kadri walks back in with his puck. Kadri fires, it's blocked by Cadel, and Cadel will return the favor. O'Connor, that almost went to the benches, but now it's Pahal. On his backhand, now forehand, gets this one out, and then moving up front. Intended for Coronado, who gets tied up by Bluger. Lomberg, also tied up by Bluger. This allows the Canucks to get this across the red line, and Nils Amon will dump this in deep. Weger slammed towards the wall. Bluger picks it up, gets rid of the puck, and the Flames will carry it out the center. They send this in from deep, and that allows both teams to make their changes. The Canucks get to the puck as Kadri shoves Elias Pettersson. Over the far half boards, moving up through the ice with speed is Höglander. Höglander around ball. Towering defenseman for the Flames. Not the tallest player on the ice here. One-timer right circle. That went over the net. And it comes to rest with Hughes carrying it. Hronek looks for Höglander. Höglander. And Wolf covers it up onto his chest.
He made that one look easy off a short side attempt. Is that a couple of icings that just got negated. But Ryan Lomberg has some pretty good work there defensively to force a couple of turnovers. And then we get that near misplay for Lankinen as Blake Coleman was racing in to try to get an easy goal as we go to break.
Blake Coleman's a workhorse on the ice. Tampa knew this. New Jersey knew this. Calgary knows this all too well with his workhorse ethic. The workhorse from Texas. Well, it doesn't have the same nickname as the workhorse from Whitehorse that's given to Dylan Cousins.
Works all the same way, Alec, as you said. That's beautifully done, as it's still a 1-1 game. We're still waiting to see what the next goal is going to be. Alec and I, we were talking about a little bit of whether or not this was going to be a 2-1 type of game. As much as we've gotten into this second period now with 13:05 left, it really does feel, unless something turns out its head, it really does feel like next goal might win this one.
It might, given the goaltending battle. Now, am I seeing the Red Wings or the Lions? Because the Red Wings are up 7-3. They put a touchdown and an extra point on the Sabres. Now, Mort Seider on the power play. How about that?
So the Red Wings power play that has been struggling over the last few games has certainly ignited, because now I'm looking at this and I see 3 tallies on the Red Wings power play.
This is a much needed game for this Red Wings power play. And I know I could say something of a bounce back game for the Hurricanes power play, but this has been a common reframe for Hurricanes power play that's been ailing in this calendar year. Yes, the Canes got a power play goal from Logan Stankoven on his Carolina debut. Also in the Carolina debut side, Mark Jankowski, who scored twice after scoring just 4 goals with the Nashville Predators and a 4th-line role. He'll fit in seamlessly onto Carolina's 4th line between Eric Robinson and Jack Roslovic, who not only keeps the Rolex he got from Mikko Rantanen, but also gets the number 96 back.
Yeah, and the hard work, as you said, that's the most part. You get those goals from Jankowski, that's an absolute bonus.
Yeah, of course. It is an added bonus for his grit and sandpaper. As we come back into action here, as we're underway past the 6-minute frame, or 7-minute frame rather, because it was inside the 7-minute mark in which the stoppage was made. Vancouver trying to get out their own zone, but a takeaway here by Connor Zary, who John says is a future 30 goal scorer for the Flames. As Anderson keeps his puck inside, it goes a wraparound around the boards. Now a shot that might have hit Zary. He tried to duck to avoid that puck. And now this goes all the way back as Wolf plays this for Farabee, who was acquired in the first Andrei Kuzmenko trade. Kuzmenko now an LA King. Vancouver restarts, and they move it up for Garland. Garland for the near boards, this puck going in deep. Pahal twisted and turned by one of the Canucks, but Pahal manages to take away this puck. High flying puck as it's a race for this icing, but the puck did not make it all the way. And the Canucks will have to reset here, and instead of the face-off at the Flames end, they have to go 200 feet at the ice, but not right now. Sharon Govich has at the near half boards. Sharon Govich fires. Good block there, but as the Canucks clear, and they get this one down for the ice. Pahal sees it's over his head, helping him is Bean. Jake Bean off the near boards for Pospisil. Pospisil hangs on after an attempted check by Garland, and Pospisil will carry this behind Wolf's crease. Here is Pahal. Pahal through the far side, now through center, as the Flames wanting to get set up. as these two teams are not two of the high-scoring teams in the league, as they rely on goaltending most of the time between Lankinen and Wolf. Of course, it's going to be the likings of a low-scoring game. It's now 1-1 between them. It has been the case since the first period with Kadri's goal. Around the boards, this exits out. Vancouver on delayed offside decides to dump this in for whatever reason, and it will be picked up by Hanley, who is being hounded by Besser. Sticked away by Vancouver, and they'll chop this down for the ice. Wolf will let this one go. Over the near half boards, it is Kadri. Kadri from the penalty box doors, dumping this one in. From the far boards, Coronado. Left point as this gets fired around for the end boards, and then back for the near side, Uyghur. Opposite side, Hanley, who waits over the far half boards. Lankinen makes a save on the Hanley wrister. And it's scooped up by Quinn Hughes, who was initially the number one defenseman for Team USA in the Four Nations faceoff. Give and go for Sherwood. Now it's a race for the puck off the body, and it's going to be won by Jake Bean. And we have a scuffle afterwards between Lomberg and Hughes. They certainly won't go away with the fisticuffs, and we're not done yet with these two rivals.
No, and again, as you mentioned, Hughes not backing away, but you got to imagine the Vancouver brass, considering he's still injured, they don't want him to get involved in any of that kind of stuff.
No, they don't, given that he's dealing with the injury that he has went through in the last few games. You do not want to suffer an injury in any case, and the fact that he wasn't injured here, it is good news for the Canucks. The concern now for them is in Derek Forbert because he took a block shot to the hand. He's getting examination for the medical staff.
Lomberg is going to go to the box for a cross-check on Hughes, and then he was getting a little bit extra after all of that. So Ryan Lomberg was seeing red. They're already wearing red, but he's going to sit in the box now for what he hopes is 2 minutes.
That may be the case here for Lomberg as we check the box score. It is 2 minutes. Vancouver will get another chance. They had just one shot on their previous power play, but it goes to a test. Given that the both penalty kills have been so good in their previous penalty kills, it can speak to how they have been on a roll over the last few weeks and even this season. The Flames clear it. And up once again, the Flames are already at work on their penalty kill units. They've killed off their last 18 penalties. They're that good on the PK. DeBrusk going across. There was a good stick there by Ball. The Canucks still with this puck. DeBrusk looking to go for the point, but it's a tie up at the far half boards. Besser in the mix of it. And the Flames get all over that, but a good keep here by the Canucks to keep this one in. It's DeBrusk who goes to the right side. Pettersson missed an assignment. He picks the puck up though. Watched by Huberdeau. Goes one way and another. Pettersson, position at the far corner with Huberdeau watching him. Where does he go? To the point for Hughes. Hughes walks around, goes back for Pettersson. Blazes one, and a miss. Hughes picks it up. Hughes from the point over to Pettersson. He decides not to load up again. Hughes will shoot himself and he scores! Was there deflection is the question, but the Canucks don't mind it. It is a power play goal. It's 2-1.
And that's the best medicine you could ask for right there. Alec in the mix. You got Lomberg messing there with Hughes and Hughes says, I'm going to take care of business, and I agree with you. We're going to see. I saw Jake DeBrusk get the celebration line. Again, the replay now is Hughes waiting for this near the left side blue line. Now crisscross in the high slot as he's got the ISO camera on him. And now we will get the overhead. In the mix of Hughes to send this one across. You got DeBrusk right at the doorstep. And this might have went off his stick shaft.
Yeah, right off of DeBrusk. It might have went off the stick shaft and positioned onto the right side of the net. Right place, right time for DeBrusk. As Hughes used two players in front, including one Canuck, Connor Garland, as a screen to help DeBrusk set things up at the bumper. And Hughes is letting the Flames know that he is not messing around.
It's well said. The 23rd already for Jake DeBrusk.
So far, a good season for DeBrusk in a season which the Canucks are not getting a lot of scoring from their forwards, save for the already traded JT Miller. Hughes and Elias Pettersson the assists, 47th and 25th respectively. Pospisil is all tied up by Piers Suter, and that forces the puck backwards to Mackenzie Weegar. The Canucks need this game by any way possible, and so far they're up 2-1. The Flames need to find a way to tie it. From the near quarter, the Canucks will get this one out through center, and Calgary will reset things up from their own end. Bean off the double tip, and then one more sandwich in the way at center ice. That'll get the Canucks to touch up on the puck and a whistle.
Yeah, it looked like after that goal, Alec, the Flames a little bit discombobulated. There was a couple players almost run into each other. Marty Pospisil, you run into him, you're probably not getting up. And then Nazem Kadri near the right side boards tried to play the puck in between his own legs to get an entry as we get a whistle and break.
There's not a lot to be said outside of Vancouver needing this one, but when I mentioned about the 18 consecutive penalties killed, I didn't think that it would be done like that fast. Oh my goodness. Talk about the announcer jinx.
No, I think you're all right there, Alec, in the mix of it. Again, it's the play from Ryan Lomberg. I loved his energy and all that stuff that he brought with the Flames today. I mean, he's been all over the ice, but that was a blatant cross-check right in front of Quinn Hughes. You just can't do that when you give Vancouver a chance to open the door here. As we mentioned, both of these teams that struggle to put the puck in the back of the net. You are playing with the fire, just like the Flames usually do, and sometimes you get burned.
That is the case there for Ryan Lomberg. And you don't want to get the mental instincts the best of you here. Sometimes you have to stay cool, and sometimes you have to focus on the game ahead of you. That time, Lomberg didn't take that into account.
Nope, and that's why the Vancouver Canucks have the lead. And again, as we talk about it, is that going to be the one that is the GWG? Again, it seems like a long way to go within this game, but we've talked about it with the Flames as well. They're a team that is goal-scoring by committee. And we've already seen a lot of these ones where they look exactly how they normally do. What I mean by that is shots from severe angles, send things toward the net, and hope it ends up working out. Unless you get that individual play that you got in there for Nazem Kadri, you kind of wonder where the goals are going to come from for the Calgary Flames.
Say someone like Nazem Kadri, as you mentioned, but outside of Kadri, you also want to wonder, and it's fair, of where the goal scoring is going to come from, because goaltending has been their best component. You would say someone like Jonathan Huberdeau, Matt Coronado, those are your best bets for the goal scoring. Maybe something of Igor Sharangovich as well.
Yeah, we're going to need to see more from Sharangovich. I thought he was good when he first came over here. Now he seems more like a bottom six defensive forward, but they need his goal scoring.
They need year one Igor Sharangovich back. He's been a revelation when he first stepped onto the ice, but now you need to get that year one Igor Sharangovich back. Off the faceoff, it's won by the Canucks, who lead 2-1 despite being outshot 15-12. Goaltending has been the name of the game, but so far Dustin Wolf has allowed 2 goals, and Kevin Lankinen 1. Around for the near boards, and for the far quarter, the Canucks in pursuit. The Flames trying to clear it as Farabee wants to get in the mix of it, chipping this puck outwards. He does get the stick onto the puck, and the Flames clear it. Down through the ice, it's a race, and ahead of it, it's Blueger who gets shoved late by Farabee, and the two come together again, Blueger and Farabee, right afterwards, and Blueger was visibly upset after Farabee shoved him down towards the ice, uncalled for.
Yeah, you can see that one coming a mile away for Teddy Blueger, trying to get some retaliation from the Farabee hit that I think was late, and the sense off that icing there. Wasn't going to get there first, but Calgary trying to take a couple extra pieces out of the Canucks right now. I'm not saying you're not going to see that in a rivalry, Alec, but I think your attention needs to go back to try to tie this game more so than anything else.
That is the thing here. You have to tie this game up more so than getting the mental aspect the best of you here. Because at these times, in a tight game, in a tight contest, when you want to change the tide of momentum, the response shouldn't be just randomly going after players needlessly in a game in which you're behind by 1. You gotta have to score the next goal. From the far side, the Flames off the faceoff as they want it. Looking to go the whole distance. Tipping it over to the far half boards. And the return feed in front. The pass was missed, but it's kept in by Coleman. The near corner, Farabee held this one inside. Connor Zary helping him. Coleman looks for Farabee. It's loose in the front. Lankinen held the right post and will hold on with 8 minutes to go.
As Alec mentioned, there was a chance it was a near miss as Coleman, off that pass toward the right side, that one just goes wide to the right side embankment. I try to set this one back in around for Zary. Again, as he gets settled more in, he's not going to be on that fourth line, but he's coming off that long injury. Again, you'd also mention this too. We talk about where their goal scorings come from. That was a shame they lost Anthony Mantha so early in the year, because that's another one they would depend on.
He would be a solid middle six forward that he would contribute to the lineup every day for Calgary. And his absence is sorely missed. Long shot blocked, and the Canucks may come with numbers. And rushing backwards is Brady Pahal to fend off Dakota Joshua. Joshua gets forced behind the net. Pahal looking to defend. Garland got it off over to the right point. Long shot in front. There was no deflection. It was blocked to the near half boards. And Hanley gets this one down, and a whistle blows. We see Garland with the neck brace to protect himself. There's a penalty against Calgary. That's Pahal.
Yeah, Pahal, a little bit of a trip. I'm not going to say knee on Garland, but again, that's another needless one. We've been talking about some interference on Brayden Pahal. And those are just two penalties in between Lomberg and Pahal now that you just can't have.
Aye, aye, aye. You know about how Calgary is doing with the penalty code. No need to run yourself into penalty after penalty, especially in a game like this one. You know there's playoffs on the line here, and you know that Vancouver made the playoffs last year as the 1 seed. Even though Vancouver's fighting for a wild card spot, with the analytics suggesting that they were going to regress this year, of course, you were expecting positive regression for the Canucks. But the Flames, being the surprise team in the league, you want to wonder if they would get the better of themselves and not let mental instincts take over them. Drop behind, Garland rushes this one in. DeBrusque back for Garland as he is racing for this puck. This is still free, and the Flames looking to clear this one out. This might be deflected out of play, so no penalty.
Yep, no penalty. Deflected out of play. We're going to get another D-zone draw here for the Flames. Again, this is a must-kill. I don't normally say that with 7:16 left to go on the second hour, but if the Flames don't kill this one, they go down by 2, they're going to be in a world of hurt.
They would. If the Canucks score another power play goal here, a shorty could do business for them, but I don't know if they're going to score a shorthanded goal like what Carolina did last night against Tampa Bay. And this one exits out the zone after the face-off, and now force Kevin Lankinen to come out of his crease to play this for Quinn Hughes. He cannot cover, so Hughes is going to go up with this puck. Blake Ullman watches. Elias Pettersson carrying this puck inside. Pettersson forced outside right. The Flames were all over him, and they cleared this down the distance. Lankinen will start this up again. Jake DeBrusque leaving it for Hughes one more time. Did he get the speed guy Garland going up with a burst of speed? No, they'll have Hughes carry this himself. Quinn Hughes will backhand to the right circle for Besser. Wraparound pass back for Hughes, who's positioned at the right point. Hughes going for Besser. Besser fires and misses everything. And this one goes out of play. I don't believe there's going to be another penalty. It was deflected out of play.
The previous possession there, as the Canucks got entry, it was Quinn Hughes doing it all himself. He could have walked in near the right side of the dot, but he elected to back out. And Besser's chance, as you said, got missed. And it's going to be an offensive zone draw.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes doing it in everything here for Vancouver on the defensive end. Team leader in points, and is the only player to average a point per game right now. The advanced analytics show regression on Vancouver's part from last season. The Flames clear it out, given that it may not be sustainable this year, given how they played well over their heads last season. And granted, it was a magical year last year. Could they recapture that magic? Who knows? Hughes fires this one around and went off a stick shaft. And the Flames will get this one down. Here they have a chance here, short-handed. Huberdeau, he scores! Indeed, there's the shorty we've been asking for.
That was nasty, and what a clear the other way. Point blank 2-0, the easiest finish possible. And Huberdeau gets a nasty one off of that clear the other way. That was a perfect pass. Seeing eye from the left side boards. No chance for Lankinen. 2 disgusting goals for the Flames.
A 2-on-0 shorthanded breakaway for the Calgary Flames as Huberdeau saw that he was on the receiving end. This pass was positioned at the right place, right time, and there was nothing that Lankinen could do against that one as Rudy set it up perfectly from the far half boards, and the Flames get their mojo back. One of the best penalty kills in the league, and although the Canucks still have power play time left in them, time is fading fast after giving up that shorthanded goal. 10 seconds as such, but in all the sorts of belief, the Canucks will see this go down without a power play goal. They scored one, but the Flames returned the favor with a shorty. Penalty's over. We're back to 5-on-5. 23rd goal this season for Huberdeau, and it scored shorthanded. Canucks trying to set up to make this a 3-2 game. Out for the bench here is Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, and that was a great block by Blake Coleman in front to stop that slapper. And this clear goes all the way down for an icing. But what a goal and what a block by Coleman.
I'm glad that you called that out, Alec. It's 100% justice. Marcus Pettersson walks into a clapper and a dive right off the instep of the skate. You can't do that any better off the saw for Blake Coleman. Well done.
Yeah, that was Marcus Pettersson, not the younger Elias Pettersson, but Coleman right there. His shot blocking prowess crucial for a Flames team that's looking to make the playoffs for the first time since they had Johnny Gaudreau, Elias Lindholm, and Matthew Tkachuk as their top line. This is a new look Flames team. It's a rebuilding Flames team, but one led by the foundation of goaltending like it was when they had Mika Kiprusoff in those years in the 2000s. Mackenzie Weegar looks to his left for Hanley. Now moving up front onto the far half boards. The Flames fire this one off wide, and with 5:07, Vancouver resets with a 3-on-2. Hoglander walks into a wrister that was wide the net, and then the Flames get all sorts of physicality into it. Oh my goodness, will this ever end between the back and forth with the shoving matches?
I think Neil Zayman got a little bit of a tie-up there on the Flames. I'm pretty sure that Flames should be going to the power play, should they not, as we take a break?
That's what the belief is. So boy, did Eamon, he held down Farabee. Not exactly a bear hug of sorts, but that should put the Flames on the power play. I agree with you.
Man, oh man. Again, you got 2 goals, a couple of gifts that the Flames gave the Canucks. Canucks cash in on one of them, and the tip from Jake DeBrusk off the Quinn Hughes chance. But yeah, that Nazem Kadri goal, little dipsy doodle from Rasmus Anderson and Kevin Ball, and maybe superseded by a 2-on-0 shorthanded with Huberdeau with his 23rd from Rudy and Weegar, because that was absolutely ridiculous too.
Glad that you brought that one up, because those are 2 highlight reel goals by the Calgary Flames in quick succession, one period after another. It does not get any better than this. If it's the next goal by the Flames, what else is there for me to say then? Let's see it be a highlight reel goal game winner, maybe. Or what we don't know if we're speaking too early, because the Canucks still have a lot of time to get the go-ahead goal again. But the Flames have been playing excellent hockey here at home ice.
Yeah, you can say that, and at least I know this is the easiest thing to say, but I'll mention it now. And between Pius Suter, it was the 17th, the Brusque is 23rd, and then both the 23rd between the Huberdeau and Kadri. It's all the big boys scoring for these 2 teams right now.
Yep, the big boys have been finding the back of the net. Huberdeau, Kadri with their 23rd each for them, and now we're back to where we once started again. Or special teams being the name of the game in this second period. The Canucks power play, the Flames penalty kill. Then again, these 2 teams with their penalty kills, they've been 2 of the best in the West.
This game has been a lot of fun, Alec. I'm glad that you and Ian have been able to join me for this one. You get set to take the final 5 of the second. Eamon's going to be in the box for a hold. It's going to put the Sea of Red on the power play.
2 minutes, that is. Eamon 2 for holding, and it's not the bear hug on Joel Farabee, because it wasn't. Now positioned at the right side of the ice, the Flames in the red and yellow. Canucks win the faceoff, 5th best penalty kill in the NHL. They get the early jump onto this. The Flames had 2 shots on their previous power play, but the Canucks penalty kill has been so good this season. That's one aspect of Rick Tocchet's team that hasn't changed. Defense. They're a defense-first unit. At the near quarter, Vancouver sees this one go to Calgary, but they inadvertently pass this one out their own zone, and Dustin Wolf will start this one up. Weegar will move it for Kadri and then drop it back as they get started up. Coronado moves around O'Connor. Off to Kadri. Kadri going towards the point. O'Connor there. Now back for Weegar, and Vancouver's all over that puck. They'll have to get reset. Morgan Frost. And boy, Vancouver's done a good job of not allowing Calgary any chances on the power play. This season against the Canucks, they're 1 for 8. Excellent job by Vancouver on killing off the penalties that they've had. And this one goes up and out. Oh no, it's in! The red light never went on. I thought that this went out of play. The puck went in the back of the net, and it's a goal. It's 3-2.
Yeah, Alec, I'm trying to get another look at this as well, because when you got the camera shot, I see Huberdeau immediately celebrate, and I don't blame you because I would have said the same thing during the live call. This is a point that goes, I think hits the inside of the camera, crosses and goes out. That puck is in. It's stuck in behind the mesh.
Have you ever seen anything like this, John?
You know what that really reminds me of? The one where Nazem Kadri scored as a Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs against the Lightning. I didn't know that he scored. I don't think anyone else knew that Huberdeau scored, but it's a 3-2 lead for Calgary.
And I thought that time that Vasilevsky robbed him blind by then, but it took a while for it to be detected into the net. It was a goal, but what is it with these moments and being awkward? Now Jonathan Huberdeau takes sole possession of first place among the Flames leaderboards in goals scored. The Canucks try to answer back, but Dustin Wolf howls in the wild for the save, and the Flames clear it out. But, oh my, this puck might have hit the Jumbotron, so we'll have a face-off. Have you ever seen that?
No, this game's getting a little silly now in the mix of it. You mentioned it. You got a short-handed goal. You got a power play goal for Huberdeau. You know, he's picked a good time to have one of his best nights of the year, Alec.
Oh, yes. Given the trade in which I sent Matthew Tkachuk to the Panthers, of course, all the talk was about how Huberdeau is going to do and how Calgary is going to have him acclimate onto the system. Now on a Ryan Huska-led team, he's getting more comfortable in an East-West style of hockey. This puck it's hard to find, but the officials found it at the last moment, and even the goal horn operator took a while for the horn to be sounded. That's how hard it was.
Yeah, it was a very difficult call. He did a good job live, though. Again, we both have to cover it because sometimes you just see those ones where it bounces in and it gets stuck in behind the netting and you just can't locate it. It was about a 15 seconds later celebration, but Calgary's going to take it as they got the go-ahead on the power play.
Oh, that and the moment of the Patrick Kane Cup winning goal in 2010. People think about that when it comes to awkward goals and delayed celebrations, but Kane knew it immediately when he fired the puck in the back of the net. The Canucks will get this one moving up for the near side, but Uyghur's going after this puck, trying to take it away. Vancouver's all over it though, and as they're looking to clear, they have a rush one-on-one. Connor Garland waits, and he'll fire cross corner for the dump in. Pospisil throwing a reverse hit for this puck, and that allows the Flames to scoop it up. Sharon Govich, Uyghur. Flames moving up with numbers. And stopping, I believe, is Pospisil as he dumps it in. Mancini blows a tire. Fell down onto his own. And helping him out is Marcus Pettersson, as this is cleared out by the Canucks. Piers Suter gets this down deep, and Anderson first to the puck, icing his waved off as he was already in the defensive zone. Rasmus Anderson, both feet across the ice for Kevin Ball. This takes a bounce, and the first to the puck is Quinn Hughes, the workhorse of this Vancouver team. Hughes will send this deep, and it's met by Jake Bean. From the Vancouver bench, the Flames looking to get this back up for the ice, and a shot by Ryan Lomberg, and a good takeaway there. Lomberg missed the net. He had all sorts of net at his right side. Huberdeau keeps this one alive, though. Ball walks into it, fires it, and Lankinen is down. Gets back up onto his feet as Lomberg's trying to track the puck. Kadri keeps this one alive. Kadri falls onto his knees, trying to stay upright, but loses the puck. And Drew O'Connor steps into it out to the far side of the ice and dumps this one in. Uyghur the first to the puck. And for the near side, turning around is Farabee. Joel Farabee moving up through center, dumping this out to the near corner. First to the puck is Hronek. Hronek gets shoved. Zary gets the tip onto the puck, and chasing after it still is Farabee. Hronek once again poking that one away, and the Canucks looking to get this one out, and they do. A rush on this puck by Niels Amon, and he sends it to the near corner. A fight for the puck with 133, and stepping into his Bluger. Wrap around for the near corner, and then back the other way is Marcus Pettersson. A light slapper back inside for the zone before Calgary gets this one out, and a delayed reaction by the linesman, but it's an icing.
So Lomberg this time doesn't have to deal with any sort of cross-check. He did a good job getting that puck away from Brock Besser, then just shot wide. And then another opportunity, Philip Hronek ended up knocking down Kevin Lankinen and hitting him in the head.
Ooh, and accidental contact between Lomberg and Hronek that forced Hronek onto Lankinen. I'm sure Lankinen was not anticipating that, but either way, I'm surprised that there was no pushback about the goaltender. Usually, once a goaltender gets hit by means of a force into the net or a shove right into the net, you would expect pushback. But no fights here as Hughes, off this Vancouver face-off win. From Gretzky's office, they fight for this puck. A stick lift that allows the Flames to take away this puck, and they'll move for the far side of the ice. Here's Anderson. Anderson moving for the near side on this dump-in. It'll be recollected by Vancouver with 1 minute to go in the second period. The Flames have it, though. From Gretzky's office, he set up. Weegar, one-time assist. The block in front. Ross tried to get the rebound, but could not fire home. Backhands it in deep to keep this one inside. Pospisil is all tied up. Elias Pettersson takes it away. He is tied up as well, shoved towards the wall. Hughes helps him out as Pettersson got it off on time. Cleared out through center, and a bounce on this puck. Jake DeBrusk also gets contact, and then back across. Here is Hughes. There was a body down. Offside is waved off because of the shove. The Flames once again have it. Bouncing puck is recollected by the Canucks. Backhand pass is intercepted by Coronado, tries to split the defense. As a whack into the puck as Coronado tries to fight off Hronek for this puck at the near corner, only for it to be poked away. 15 to go in this period. Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Genge, and Garland drove towards the net. Ball! Great reaction to stick this one away. Calgary, one last rush here. 5 seconds. Centers this one off. 3 seconds. Huberdeau checks it up for Calgary. Fires it. Stopped by Lankinen. The question now, did it hit the mesh before the green light went on, or is this period over? Both teams have not left the benches.
What a crazy sequence of passes there the other way. Good defense there for Ball to knock it away from Connor Garland, who I thought for sure was going to get a chance. And now definitively, Alec, we get our answer as both of these teams are heading to the dressing room. Huberdeau is still trying to get, I guess, let me take that back. They were going to the dressing room, and now they might be going back onto the ice. Ryan Lomberg having some words, and so is Huberdeau.
I had to question with that about how much time there is left in this period. So a little bit of uncertainty as the Canucks are walking off to the dressing room. Both teams don't know what is going on here. And before the moment, it is the end of the second period, and Lomberg is saying, hey, there's time left on the clock. Come on, that puck did it and hit the netting with 0-0. There's still a lot of hockey to be played here. What are we doing?
What a wild second period that we had in the mix. So I'll give you the quick reset before we get into the other content. Yeah, Jake DeBrusk on the power play from Lomberg's push and alongside for Quinn Hughes off that cross check. 23rd from Hughes and Elias Pettersson. Jonathan Huberdeau, 2-on-0, short-handed. Beautiful pass from Mackenzie Weegar. Near the left side boards, it was Rooney. Pass out of the air right to Huberdeau. Lifted past to sprawled and out Kevin Lankinen. And then Jonathan Huberdeau hits that one right into the back of the net. No one knew where the puck was for about 15 seconds. But Mackenzie Weegar gets another point from Nazem Kadri. Again, all the big boys been able to get the job done. 3-2, Flames lead after 2. Dustin Wolf just 10 of 12. And Kevin Lankinen 16 of 19. As that's your reset in from the second. Quickly here, I want to go ahead for some rumblings and then give you my preview for June 2025, as I got some thoughts. But did you know that the Toronto Maple Leafs and general manager Brad Treliving were ready to deal Mitch Marner straight out for Mikko Rantanen? That was one of those deals that were on the table, but Marner wouldn't waive the no-trade clause. Now Treliving says, I want to extend Mitch Marner. Alec, is that just saving face, or does Marner say, you know what, guys, I just want to test free agency?
I don't know about all of that notion, but Marner, I don't know the reaction from him because he has 1 year left on his contract. The popular talk with Marner was that he was going to be shipped off for a haul in last offseason after the Leafs' unceremonious first-round exit at the hands of their boogeyman, the Boston Bruins. But now that Marner is being held and not dealt in a potential Rantanen trade. Do remember, the Leafs were one of the 4 teams that Rantanen wanted to be traded to. As mentioned, the 4 teams that he wanted to play for. The Leafs were in on Rantanen alongside Vegas, New Jersey, and Florida. There was a 6th team involved in it. I can't remember the 6th team, but I remember 5 of the 6 teams that were involved in the talks for Mitch Marner. But now, The plan here is that it's about what the Leafs do with Marner. Do remember, he's a free agent after this season, and John Tavares' contract is also up. The UFA possibilities are endless. His current cap hit is $10.9 million, but the Leafs wants to get Falter early. There are going to be a sizable number of Toronto fans who want to move in different directions with Marner. But I think that given his performance in the Four Nations face-off, I think that would be a mistake for the Leafs to walk away from Marner, given that the Four Nations face-off helped turn around his reputation.
I agree. There's something to be said about all that. And again, the cap hit's going to be big. You would think if John Tavares comes back, his cap hit's going to be significantly less to try to make sure everything fits.
Yeah, I would give him that same notion as well. If Tavares could take a pay cut to stay with the Leafs, try and win something with his hometown team. He's not too far from here, from where he's from, Mississauga.
Couple things for me as far as milestones, and then I'll give you my prediction. Milestones, congratulations in order. I know this was a few days ago, but Nathan McKinnon, at just 29 years of age, reaches 1,000 points. He's just the 100th player in history to do so. So big milestone for him. The big cat, Andrei Vasilevsky, has reached the 30-win marker for the 8th consecutive season, joining none other than Martin Brodeur and Patrick Waugh as the only goalies in NHL history to do so. And this is just me poking up some fun, because I like Nikita Zadorov. In a 3-2 win for the Bruins over the Panthers yesterday, he absolutely destroyed Sam Bennett in the final seconds on Tuesday. Did you see those 5 straight rights as Bennett was just trying to hold on to Pasternak and Zadorov because he got his world rocked?
Oh, I saw the ending of that game. Even though Brad Marchand was not playing, it was his return to Boston. And with a new Sam Adams commercial on the way to Boston, an advertisement, which is, I know it's unfortunate, but, well, anything for commercials, I guess. One last thank you to the city of Boston with that Sam Adams commercial that's set to be released. But that was a scrappy game in his return, in which the Bruins said, hey, we don't forget, we may be a different team, but we still have some fight left in us.
So one last thing for me, gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and give my prediction. I already got this locked in for June 2025 when I cover the Stanley Cup Finals alongside you gentlemen for what I hope is all of the games, and I get stuck in between a bunch of plans, but never can know with the summer. So, again, I mentioned this many times throughout Hopeless Sports Guy, working with Alec Cooper, everything else and the like. One of my favorite coverages ever is one of the first ones in through Colorcast and mixing them in now between the 2022 Cup Finals. Between the Bolts and the Avalanche, and I'm saying it now, gentlemen, even in 2025, with both teams looking drastically different, I still see heavyweight strength in between offense, defense, and solid goaltending. My only pause is the Battle of Florida, possibly in the Eastern Conference between Tampa and Florida. But in the West, I will take the Avalanche over the field. Am I completely crazy, or do you think I could be somewhat close?
I'll give you both of them. I'll give you the Lightning because I also think the Lightning will come out the Eastern Conference. On my basis that if anyone thinks that they're done competing for Stanley Cups, I think people are going to be in for a surprise. Andrei Vasilevsky still has something left in the tank, and this core is still here. You got the main pieces, Point, Kucherov, Hagel, Cirelli, Hedman, McDonough, Chernak. You got the main pieces around. Plus you get new guys onto the mix. Gensel, Bjorkstrand. You get Gord back via trade. And you have a complete team all around you that can go up and down for the lineup. Yes, the loss of Sergachev may still sting, but J.J. Moser has been solid with paired next to Victor Hedman. Plus, you can rotate between Connor Geekie or Gage Gonzalez at the third line right wing spot. You cannot go wrong with either one. Gonzalez holds the edge right now because he's having the better run as of late. But Geekie on the longer run could be on a benefit because he's the higher touted prospect. I'll give you Tampa Bay. Colorado, that's a valid pick for a Stanley Cup contender. Mackenzie Blackwood stabilizing the goaltending. Nathan McKinnon going Super Saiyan as of late. Brock Nelson and Charlie Coyle loading up down the middle. You have elite talent on the wings as well with Martin Necas, and solid contributors on the wings with Lankinen, Nichushkin, and also Jonathan Drouin, McKinnon's best friend, and as well dating back to juniors. You have all that talent, you can compete for a Stanley Cup. I also want to bring up another other team. I know they're not a big pick to come out the Western Conference, but I cannot count them out with their boatloads of experience. And even through a lot of roster turmoil, I cannot count them out because of their reputation. Vegas. Whenever they're down for the count, they find a way to bounce back. Elite defensively, complete all round. And whenever they're on the ice, you can never count them out until they're down by several goals and it's the third period of an elimination game.
You're not going to get any argument from me, Alec. Again, Ian would give you some of those same points there alongside for Vegas still being one of those. And I'm glad that you enlightened me and didn't think I was absolutely crazy for both of those picks. I just feel like I want to lock it in now because I was just impressed with what these teams have done at the deadline and throughout the year. So we'll see if that's what comes to pass. And again, to your point there earlier before Ian jumps in, I think that's another one of the reasons why Steve Yzerman didn't make a lot of moves at the deadline, because you look at what Carolina, Florida, and Tampa did, there really is no sense to try to go for Reynolds because you're just giving up first-round picks for nothing.
So, in terms of a Stanley Cup prediction, what I'm about to pick is just, it's what I want to see and what I'm hoping for. It's not based on any historical data or anything like that. From the West, for a Stanley Cup matchup, the Winnipeg Jets. Yes, this is it. This is the year they make it to the finals. This is the year that Connor Hellebuck, Mark Scheifele, and what have you will finally make it to the Stanley Cup final. That's from the West. And from the East, well, from the East, I would have to say, move over there, I'm taking over this prediction. The Carolina Hurricanes will run roughshod over the East. We have goaltending, we have Sebastian Aho. We said that trade Armiko Rantanen down to Dallas. Yes, it's not exactly unfortunate. Yes, it's not exactly purgatory, but you know what? We still sent that trader away. The Hurricanes are showing no mercy this time. It's gonna be 2006 all over again, and the Brass Bonanza will play throughout the NHL. Look out! The F5 is coming your way. So yeah, Jets and Hurricanes for the Stanley Cup final.
You know what, Alec, I'll say this for you. I hope that it happens for you on the Hurricane side. And for the Jets, honestly, for Connor Hellebuck, I hope that it happens for him because I'm sure he's tired about, what happens to him during the Cup playoffs when he just has a little bit more struggles.
That would be my dream if the Hurricanes make it back to the Stanley Cup final. Possibly an opportunity to go to a finals game, who knows? Of course, tickets are going to be expensive, but it's going to be well worth the enjoyment of going back to a playoff game. Could be the first time ever going to such, but if it's a Stanley Cup final, that's a much bigger storyline. The Winnipeg Jets absolutely need a deep playoff run given circumstances. I know the arena isn't the largest in the NHL, but you would hope that Winnipeg would get something out of a playoff run. Outside their lone deep run being 2018. A deep run meaning conference finals, Stanley Cup final potentially, off the back of Hellebuck. How much can he do? And of course, even for him being one of the best goaltenders in the league, I think he's under the most pressure among goaltenders making it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because in the past few seasons, he's faltered come playoff time. He has to change that narrative.
I almost went with a rematch of 2006 and put the Edmonton Oilers there. But, I mean, at this point, if the Winnipeg Jets don't make it now, they're never going to make it. And then they'll move. and Winnipeg will be sad again.
That would be nightmare scenario for Winnipeg and the city, because that would have been, if such were the case would happen, that would be twice that they would lose their hockey team. And we don't want that to happen in any case. Not at all. And as we go around through the rest, I just want to give a shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Welcome back to the NBA playoffs. They've clinched with a win over the Boston Celtics, 118-112. The recent being Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 34 points in the playoff clinching game. Chet Holmgren with 23 and 15 rebounds over a high-powered Celtics team that just beat the Los Angeles Lakers and snapped their 8-game winning streak this past Saturday. Jason Tatum with 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. The do-it-all workhorse for Boston in Boston. Al Horford, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. And boy, these two teams are rolling. They're the class in each of their conferences. In the NHL, we do have some goal-scoring updates. The Utah Hockey Club, pending team name approval for what their name would be next. They get a goal from Jack McBain. His 12th of the year. Ian Cole and Josh Stone get the assists. It is 1-0 Utah at the Delta Center. And the Seattle Kraken up 1-0 on the Montreal Canadiens with 5:18 to go in the first. And as we spoke of Brandon Montour and what his absence was meant for the Florida Panthers and them needing to fill it up with Seth Jones, Montour scored the first goal for Seattle. Jordan Eberle has the assist. The goalies being Joey Daccord, who is 5 for 5. Jacob Dobish, 7 of 8. And a graduate of the Ohio State University. The goaltenders for Anaheim and Utah tonight, Ville Husso and Karel Vejmelka. Vejmelka 8 for 8, Husso 16 of 17.
I heard two names as I just came back. One was Jordan Eberle, which I'm good to hear back, and then Ville Husso still sounds weird as an Anaheim Duck.
It still does, because it was not too long ago he signed with Detroit on a 3-year deal. Didn't work out. Now he got traded to Anaheim simply as a cap dump. The return was future consideration. So cash considerations is basically the equivalent of future considerations. You're just freeing up cap space in such a way.
Yeah, I feel like I need to get a future considerations jersey as a Red Wings side of it, because there was a lot of that, I'm sure, during the deadline.
Basically, there was. And given that third goaltender need to be filled in, Cam Talbot has been rather off as of late, but Alex Lyon, and even though for him being the better goaltender in Detroit as of right now, he can only do so much for the Red Wings if defense is one of the weak links of the team.
I'll say it as simply as I can, Alec, and I know that we all know this. It's 4 forwards for Detroit: Lorcan, DeBrincat, Kane, and Raymond. You got 2 defensemen in the mix of Seider and Edvinsson, and your goaltending is still, below par. That's really all there is right now for Detroit besides their prospects. You could throw in Casper and all, but those are your only reliables, and that is why the Red Wings are where they are. You could talk about Yzerman and some of the stuff in the free agency, deadline, things like that, lack thereof. Prospect pool is good, but guys like Kopp, when he went out, that hurt them a lot. Again, he was one of the only guys that was a plus on the team. Coffer hasn't done that much. But the prospects are good, but all the placeholders, those are placeholders that I'm talking about. They're still waiting for the kids to come in, but they might only be ready by the time they're 22, 23. That's why the fans are getting impatient. I'm not, but that's the situation that we're in.
Yeah, and I know I get the reactions about patience and impatience, but though there's time that's running out for Steve Yzerman on his plan on getting the Red Wings back to the promised land, that being the playoffs. This is 2025 and year 6 of Steve Yzerman's tenure as a GM. And the Red Wings haven't made the playoffs right now, but they've been on the cusp of making it there. But now it's fair to wonder, how long is Yzerman's leash?
It's fair to wonder because you said, Alec, year 6. They don't care about the first 3 years when he inherited Holland's mess. I think Eisman's probably got 2.5 years over under if this continues, if they don't make it.
I would say something like that as well. So Elias Pettersson is 9th in franchise history among points with 450. So he's onto the top 10 category. Hasn't been playing like it, but nonetheless, you'll want to see the young 4 or 5 here. 5-2-2 in the current 10-game point streak against the Flames for Pettersson. The Canucks record. 6 goals, 7 assists, and 13 points. He loves playing against Calgary.
Do you mind taking the first 10 and letting me close, or do you want to switch?
You know what? I'll let you close out this time around. It's your return, and I'll let you have the final 10.
I'll just take the home side of the Flames just for Cooper because he needs the points, but I feel bad for Ian as well. So I just want to have fun with this one, darn it.
That's the way it should be. Have fun all throughout. It's a crucial Western Conference wildcard matchup on the line here. Not only for the Canucks and Flames, but also for the Blues and Utah, who by the way, Utah's playing right now. Third period's underway. Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Genge here with you at Scotiabank Saddledome on the Twitter Spaces, Twitch, and YouTube live cast of it. Philip Hronek, backed up deep by Igor Sharangovich. There was a stick in the lane. This bounces up, and the Canucks will scoop it up from their own end, and they carry this one out. Sherwood off a body that was Handley as Eamon's trying to scoop it up. Batted in deep by Sherwood, and will be scooped up by Weegar. Mackenzie Weegar flipping this down deep, intended for Sharangovich, but this was batted back deep. Here comes Sherwood from the near side, and Wolf stopped one. Teddy Blueger tried to take one away for Vancouver, and Calgary is all over this puck. They look to move this one up, and they will, as Sharangovich goes to his right. Skating smoothly is Anderson, who fires, takes a bounce off of Marcus Pettersson, and a fight from Gretzky South is behind Lankinen's crease, and it will be the Canucks moving this one up for the middle. Partial break here for Nils Höglander. Good stick there by Kevin Ball. Höglander in time there to recover, but Kadri is right there. Wraparound chance, it's loose, and Wolf falls onto it.
And now Ball and Pettersson, Anderson, Höglander all tied up. Alec, you mentioned this many times throughout the broadcast, and we needed to. These two teams, they don't like each other. They haven't stopped all the other extracurricular as well. Kiefer Sherwood, that was in type from Teddy Blueger. That was a good stop by Wolf on the second effort.
So far, so good for Kiefer Sherwood and Dustin Wolf between these two of them. But you know how these two rivals know each other so well. Nils Höglander relentless going after this puck with aggressive and tight forechecking. But afterwards, it was chaos as Höglander puts his visor back.
So we're going to get a D-zone draw for Calgary. Elias Pettersson, number 40, going to try to get this one going here for the Canucks in an attempt to get this one tied at 3. Again, they had a hellacious comeback attempt almost against Montreal just last night. And again, Montreal's been playing very well of late, Alec, as well. So Vancouver, you know what they can do when it gets toward the final minutes. They like to push under Rick Tocchet's squad. And the refs are talking to Dan Vladar about something, but I'm not sure what.
Rasmus Anderson is over at the Calgary bench as he is discussing with Chris Lee, number 28, about something in the equipment manager. It's something to do with Anderson's helmet. That was the thing.
The helmet strap, little eagle eye for Alec Nava. We're still going to be getting set up here for this D-zone draw. Looks like Nazem Kadri and Elias Pettersson will do battles.
To the left of Dustin Wolf, nonetheless, as the top line is back out there for Vancouver. Pettersson centering Höglander, and who I believe is Jake DeBrusk. Off the face-off win, a blast from Mancini, once and wide. Is held inside by DeBrusk. Around this one goes on a backhand keep by Marcus Pettersson. Höglander from Elias Pettersson. Höglander wanted to go to DeBrusk. Can't do so as every passing lane was closed off. Höglander tries to feed this one, but a good stick in the lane ended that. And now down goes one of the Flames. Jonathan Huberdeau is slowed up. And now the Canucks will see the whistle as Nils Höglander was pursuing the puck. I believe there's a penalty.
Yeah, near the right side boards, the Flames with the extra effort in the mix of Coronado, Huberdeau trying to get something near that red line. Höglander gets dispossessed, and then toward the right side, a little bit of a trip there, and he's going to be going to the box as Coronado was able to get that second effort and draw it.
Keeps his motor afloat as Höglander was trying to chase after this puck. But the puck was already out of reach by the time he tried to chip it away, and instead clips Coronado's skates. So how much is too much is the question. Second power play of tonight for the Flames. The previous time, it was a goal in which we thought it wasn't. 3-2 Flames, they lead. Alec Navajana, Ian Genge, as we're seconds into the Flames power play here. Morgan Frost carries this one inside. From the far side, Kadri sends this backwards over to Uyghur. Now back for Kadri. Position at the right circle. Match one-on-one as he goes to Huberdeau. From the high left point, Uyghur, Kadri. Kadri waits and then goes rink wide, intended for Huberdeau that was batted down. Huberdeau tried to center for Coronado, now does so. Now it's Uyghur. Lane is opened up at the right circle. Now it goes down low. This shot fired wide, and this could not be held inside by Huberdeau, and we will have play continue rolling. Okay then. I thought there was a whistle there, but no. Drop pass, this will go to Frost. Morgan Frost starts the rush. Now for Huberdeau. Huberdeau will drop it. The pass is intercepted by Sherwood, and Sherwood still in pursuit of Uyghur, and Sherwood tried to stick lift Uyghur several times. Saucer pass going all the way across to Huberdeau. Wide open! That was Kadri with the last shot that was stopped by Lankinen. This puck held inside by Rasmus Andersson. It is Huberdeau going to the right circle. Andersson readies up for the one-timer. Instead, this puck goes to the far corner. Tic-tac-toe to Kadri, and then back over to the far half boards. This is Morgan Frost going down low for Kadri. Bouncing up and onto the near corner for Huberdeau. Back and forth, Sharangovich all tied up, and Vancouver will carry this one out to center, shooting this to length with 22 on the man advantage. For Calgary, Rasmus Andersson starts up again. Andersson will drop it back, and moving up over is Sharangovich. Sharangovich to the right. It is Joel Farabee. Rasmus Andersson going up front, looks for deflection, none there. Vancouver blocks it up, and on their knees, they look to clear it out, but Coleman's on the keep. Moving inside Sharangovich, dispossessing the puck at the last moment. Paudier's overdove. Coleman still in pursuit of the puck at the far corner. They're wrangling for it at that side. Coleman on the takeaway. Wraparound try for the far half boards, then they go all the way. And the Canucks skate with this through the benches and shoot this one down. Wolf out of his crease to the near corner for Uyghur. Moved up for Farabee on a chip to keep there by Vancouver. And the Canucks will keep this one inside. DeBrusk. One at the center. Here's Drew O'Connor. Actually, Elias Pettersson. Pettersson wanted to get this one off. He is tangled up at Gretzky's office. The Flames look to get it out, and there's a bounce that's all the way through and into the Canucks zone. Pospisil in pursuit. He steps up in front of Hughes. Tried to backhand one in front of the net, but there was nobody in front. Lombard after the far half boards, and it'll be held inside by Kadri. Kadri around for the other side. Ball. Kevin Ball going down low for Lombard. Half spin around, and he'll position up at the bottom of the left circle. One-timer didn't go all the way through. Here's Andersson. No deflection as this one bounced over to the left point. Ball. Moves out of Andersson again. Fakes a slapper. Now he'll wrist it. Made his way to Lankinen. He got a piece of it. Ball. Another bouncer. This one went to Hughes. Has Mancini with him. Hughes waits once, and both teams will decide to change lines. 5 minutes gone here. Coronado tried to steal it, but it's a quick recovery by Vancouver, as they have numbers heading into the zone. Moved up front, and there was no opportunity, but they have a smart eye on keeping this one. And then a second time, they do keep it. From the top of the left circle, this shot bounced off of Wolf, and it's collected at the near corner. Fired out to center, along the penalty box doors. Besser, and a very late offside here with 14:38.
Man, oh man. Again, in previous ones, you have Kadri there with a shot. Blake Coleman, when he first got it in the right side out, probably should have shot the puck. And ended up not with an opportunity there. And then the Flames in their own end now, tried to get this puck out a couple times. I just felt like a 1,000-pound weight. Couldn't get it out of the zone. And Dustin Wolf and his team was lucky that there was an offsides.
That's a good breeder there for the Flames to have, because the Canucks were getting testy with the puck so much that they were in pursuit so many times right on Dustin Wolf. The Flames needed that whistle. Dumped in deep. Lanking it out to play. Behind for Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. Now it's moved up, and here's Hronek. Hronek stick lifted once, twice, 3 times. Sherwood a one-timer, and gloved out of midair by the Wolfman, who was howling.
That's a snazzy little glove save there from the rookie netminder in the mix of Dustin Wolf. Again, Calgary couldn't keep him on the Wranglers for that much longer. Again, he's showcasing you why. He's going to get the primo amount of starts there for the Flames because they absolutely need it. Dan Vladar's been better of late, but the Flames have had plenty of off time from this Saturday to Wednesday. 3-1-1 in the last 5 with a 178 and 935 in a shutout.
3-1-1 in those last 5 starts. You pointed out that stat line. That's a dominant stat line for this young netminder and a key piece to Calgary's future. Of course, he'll be situated as the starting goaltender in their net for many years to come. Here is Mancini. Dumped in deep. This will be picked up by Bo. Backhands it to center. Coleman will wait and then fire to the far corner. Zary. Does a little reverse hit. Well, and there's a shot. Arm is up in the air. I think there might be something out of this as Marcus Pettersson got something up high to his face.
I think there's going to be a high sticking call then against the Flames. From the first part before the whistle blew, Alec, Vancouver wasn't even hunting the puck. They thought for sure it was going to be done immediately. And Connor Zary, he got tied up there with Marcus Pettersson. He got the butt end of the stick right to the right cheek of Marcus Pettersson. He's going to sit for 2 minutes.
Ooh. And that did not look pretty at all.
Nope. And again, you're in the wrong spot, wrong time here. And the Canucks, they get their 4th power play of the night. Another chance to tie.
They scored on one. They allowed a shorty. So 1 for 3 with 2 shots. You would imagine that Vancouver would pepper Dustin Wolf more. They do so on the first shot after the face-off and 5 seconds in. Wolf covers on a 90.6 mile an hour blazer.
Oh, number 32 looks pretty confident with the glove hand, doesn't he, Alec? That's a good save there, too.
Yes, flashed the letter a couple of times here. Twice in a row there as Quinn Hughes tees one up. And no deflection, but Wolf staying confident in the crease. Continuing his good run. 24 points in his last 19 games for Quinn Hughes. And that includes in between, including the time that he's out with injury. As Hughes walks along the point. Pettersson tees one up. And Wolf make the save there. Canucks hold it as Hughes wants to go to Pettersson. No, he's going to go to Besser. Rock Besser back for Hughes. Hughes waits. Now goes to Pettersson. Elias Pettersson walks around Huberdeau. Huberdeau watching still. Pettersson going back for Hughes. And now Pettersson one more time for the right circle. Fire it is loose in the front. And it's not cleared out afterwards as Wolf is still calm and poised. Elias Pettersson walks into it. In front. It is DeBrusk. A mass of humanity is down as Wolf escapes somewhere out of it.
Again, Dustin Wolf is a little bit underneath 6 feet, and you can see him almost get dwarfed on the top of it alongside Jake DeBrusk. They go for a wraparound opportunity, and Huberdeau says, enough of that. They let everybody fall down in front of the crease.
Those bowling pins, they can fall down at any moment when they're struck by the ball. But in this case, it's a puck. But at this time around, they were all fighting for it. Here is DeBrusk immediately off the Canucks face-off win. Everyone's getting set up as Hughes will go to the left circle for Pettersson. Hughes will trade places with Pettersson as he gets set up for the far corner. Immediately a save by Dustin Wolf as Hughes will get it back. Controlling the points, Pettersson. DeBrusk out of his net from position at the bottom of the right circle. He'll look to Pettersson again. Hughes back at the point. Pettersson back in his position. Pettersson will look. Besser set up at the left circle. Pettersson going to Hughes. Hughes once again serving as he steps onto the top of the left circle. Cross eyes for Pettersson. Pettersson rigged wide. Besser fires one. Looking to tie that game up. Nothing would budge. Pettersson being hounded by Coleman. The Canucks keep it alive though of 30. Quinn Hughes. Brock Besser holds it. Fires it and missed it. Besser on the hold. That was Connor Garwin of the left circle. Brock Besser will let this one go over to Pettersson. Rink wide Garwin. Now back for Hughes. Garwin again. Connor Garwin for Pettersson. There's a block in front. Several bodies down. One that was a flame. Still is not cleared. Hughes on the keep. There was a flame that lost the stick. That was Weegar. He got it back. DeBrusk fires. Another block there. And finally, it is cleared out. And Connor Zary, he'll not have a breakaway, but he finally gets back onto the ice. Oh, how much were the Flames hounded that time around on this penalty kill? My goodness. Kadri in pursuit for Huberdeau. Jonathan Huberdeau, backhander. And this was just kept in by Ball. High riser! And this one over Lankinen. And out of play over 11:44. Oh my word.
You know what I liked about that sequence, and a bang-up job for you there, Alec, on the certain play-by-play. You were amazing at that. All those block shots, Blake Coleman, Mackenzie Weegar, all tied up in front with Jake DeBrusk. They're pushing and shoving. You got those net battles all over just to make sure that Dustin Wolf can see everything. And then about 2-3 shot blocks in the mix of Blake Coleman, who's still getting the stick taps in amongst his teammates. They tried to clear that puck 2 or 3 other times. They couldn't get out. Everybody was gassed, but eventually the Flames clutched up there to get that one across center ice and get their change. That was a wonderful sequence, and that was really the beauty of hockey, wasn't it? Laying it all out on the line. Good stuff.
Blake Coleman especially, and that Flames penalty kill, showcasing why they're one of the hottest penalty kills as of late. And not to mention Dustin Wolf, 2023 AHL MVP, and very rarely do you see goaltenders getting named MVP in any hockey league, but that was the case for Carey Price in 2015 when he was named NHL MVP, getting awarded the Hart Trophy. This kid's the real deal, but so is the rest of this defense for the Flames. And even though there are not a lot of household names on this Flames roster, you will find guys like Weegar, Coleman, who are defensive specialists and can contribute on the penalty kill. That's one of the more underrated aspects of this Flames team.
I agree with you, Alec, and look at it on the side of it, too, over the last couple of years with the guys that they've lost in there. You can also throw in, like, Tanev, Noah Hannafin, Nikita Zadorov. I mean, there's been a lot of moving parts here with this Flames defense, but yet their defense, as you said, it's been remain one of their constant alongside their goaltending to keep them into a playoff spot where they really weren't expected to be.
And that's why the Flames are one of the biggest surprise stories of the NHL, how goaltending and defense have kept them afloat. They're not a team that relies on offense to win games most of the time, but goaltending has been their calling card again and again. This game is no different, even though the stats might not show it because of the number of times the Canucks have fired towards the Flames, but nonetheless, goaltending has been a strength, and that last sequence is why. Back off the face-off, a rush for the puck right down the middle. Dustin Wolf out of his crease to play this. Almost ran himself into trouble. And now, this one, not enough for the icing as rushing back towards this puck is Marcus Pettersson. Huberdeau holds him up. And so does Kadri. And the Canucks escape with this puck. Courageous play by Wolf to not give up a breakaway as he was rushing off his crease to deny the Canucks a breakaway chance. Vancouver picks it up, and along the Flames bench, they backhand this one in deep. For the far corner, Wolf playing this for Bean. Jake Bean for Nazem Kadri. Kadri, there was a stick it away from Dakota Joshua, and Vancouver gets this back in deep. Elias Pettersson lost the race to Jake Bean, and now Matt Coronado. Coronado moving up for the near side. Coronado from the red line, bouncing it up for the near boards. And here's Mancini, who step into it for Elias Pettersson, the defenseman. 10:45 to go. Very soon I'm going to turn it over to John Ott. Alec Nava here with John and Ian Genge. A body check there from Kevin Ball. If there's some bumps, Morgan Frost trying to keep this into the zone. But Kent, as Vancouver gets this one out. Backhanded in deep by Brock Besser. And Martin Pospisil will start up. So, how about you take it the rest of the way, John?
Kevin Rooney now will throw this one in the corner, and thank you, Alec. We're trying to take this one home here for the Flames. They're going to try to see what they can do. The Canucks, they're desperate to try to get back into WC2. There's a lot on the line tonight. Again, the Flames have had the fresher bodies. The Canucks have not played poor off the back-to-back. Here's a chance for Rooney, and he sails it right past the halfway point.
Whoa, that took a block right off a stick and went out of play after that shot was made. Kevin Rooney, he off the keep here from Calgary, as Calgary's doing everything to stay afloat in this WC2 race. Quinn Hughes wanted to clear that one out, but Huberdeau being the main centerpiece with this go-ahead goal that almost wasn't, but it was right inside the camera. That's the go-ahead goal there, and that's the goal that stands here in the midway point of third.
Absolutely, Alec. It's just as you said, in the mix of it right now between the Flames and the Canucks. The Flames will have 64 games after today. The Canucks will be at 65. St. Louis Blues are inactive. Again, Ian was telling you everything across the board that you're going to want to have, if you're a Blues fan, the Canucks get 2 points and nothing else in the mix of, I don't want to have anyone else get points at this point in time of the year. But as Alec and I mentioned, in between Calgary and Vancouver, I know it's a light schedule tonight, but this is the best one because you got 2 teams in a battle for it. You got 2 teams probably don't score a ton of goals, but the ones that we have seen, Alec, as you mentioned, have been quite good. And this game, I think, is going to come right down to the wire as it was expected to be.
That's how I see things as well. A tight game going down to the wire, as has been the case here between these battles. I know this is with another league, but already 2 teams in the NBA have clinched. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who have won 15 straight. They're the first team to clinch a playoff spot. Biggest surprise of the year, by the way, with the coaching change with Kenny Atkinson, and a team that we expected to make the playoffs back here. The Oklahoma City Thunder just clinched a playoff spot with a win over the Boston Celtics tonight. They're the second team in.
Question for you, gentlemen, quickly. The 2 favorites, Cleveland and OKC, are they the ones that are going to be playing in the finals?
That's a tough one. I'll give OKC. The East is a big toss-up. Cleveland could be coming out of the Eastern Conference, but as long as the Celtics are standing, I'm not going to count them out just yet.
That's what I'm hoping the Eastern Conference Finals will be, the Cavs and the Celtics. Again, I know it's going to be in the mix of the NHL playoffs as well, but hopefully we get a chance to join in on that. I'm looking forward to our baseball assignment in about another week and a half, as this one's now flipped up into the air, Nazem Kadri, as we will get a whistle at 9:52. Shot for it is 20-18. Again, you got a couple of goals for Jonathan Huberdeau. Power play shorthanded. Nazem Kadri with a dipsy doodle. And then in the mix, as Alec was profiling a little bit earlier, I'll just pull this up again. Pius Suter in the first, and Jake DeBrusk his 23rd on the power play. Only 1 goal is the difference. It's a 4-point swing game between these rivals. And the other thing, too, to keep in mind is if Calgary wins this game, and they end up points tied with Vancouver after these 82 games are done, they'd be winning the season series 3-1 and have that tiebreaker. So that's the other thing that you got to think about. This is the 4th and final meeting. Nazem Kadri. Now this one off the kick plate. He gets all tied up with Teddy Bluger. 9:25 left to go in the third. Joining with you alongside Alec, Malvini, and Genge. Destined to take you all the way home here and then give you this assignment. I'll be back and join in Calgary on Friday against the Avs as Teddy Bluger and Blake Coleman exchange words.
Yes, rivalries speak hard to how it can go, but this rivalry intensifying with the standings, the positioning for a playoff spot, WC2. Of course, you know how they would play up against one another, and they're matching each other's physical style. And Jonathan Huberdeau knows this too well. Blake Coleman knows this too well.
It's been a really fun game, Alec. Glad you've been able to join me for this one. Still 3-2. Connor Zeri offsides by a mile there. Was Blake Coleman. As I've not been able to really kind of get the motor revved here for this back half of the third period with all these stoppages, but 9:14 left.
Of course, that I know Zeri was a little excited to join along on the rush, but don't get too excited.
Connor Zeri will win this one right to the neutral zone. And Blake Coleman says it's all right as Kevin Ball pins it across. Farabee now will give chase. Zeri now looking toward the left side red line as Farabee gets knocked down in his heavily padded wallet. This is picked up here for Ball, and he'll chip this one down the ice. Now to Phil Peronic, former Red Wing. Again, he's the line mate alongside Quinn Hughes a couple of years ago. Phil Peronic had about 1 million assists and no goals. This is dropped along for Elias Pettersson. Now Niels Hoglander will give chase. He'll win the race toward the right side red line. In the road whites in the mix of the blue pants and the green stripe. Calgary at home in the sea of red at the Saddle Dome. It's Lewis Hoglander shoots. Good glove save there. Right into the stomach and then send it back over for Wolf.
Perfect place, perfect timing for Hoglander to get the shot away. I know Wolf has been outstanding in this game. Hoglander timed this one perfectly. You got to aim this one somewhere. Aim this at a spot in the crease where the part of the crease is left open. Hoglander fired this one directly onto the chest of Wolf. I know Wolf was playing workhorse, but I don't know if the aiming of the shot was perfect.
You had the the length of it, the height of it, Alec. He just couldn't get it to the right side of the crossbar. That was the only problem there for Höglander. He was under duress. Turnaround chance. Wolf says no, rebound, and he'll hold right at the line. And we will get some more pushing and shoving with this. Dakota Joshua, Handley, Wolf just says, I'm getting the heck out of the way. Now Marty Pospisil trying to join in on the fun. And the refs look like they're going to be able to break this one up successfully.
The refs just can't catch a break with breaking up these scuffles, can't they? We've seen too much of this to count, but that is the perks of a rivalry game here. And if you're a fan watching this game, they are going to have these scuffles most of the time. Net front scrambles, of course, don't get old when you're battling for this loose puck. Dakota Joshua and Connor Garland on the initial chances. Joshua was shoving down one of the Flames, and then Teddy Bluger wanted to clean that one up. Joshua then was caught in turn in the middle of that scuffle.
That second shot, I'm not sure if that was Pius Suter or not after Garland and Joshua. He was trying to be in a bid for a second. Wolf stopped 23 of 24 on December 31st as they profiled in their last matchup. And right now, Wolf has given up 2, but that's usually the most that he usually gives up. As Morgan Frost trying to win this D-zone, draw Joel Hanley, send this back out from Mackenzie Weegar. Good pass right up the gut, Morgan Frost. He will go on his backhand now and send this in off the kick plate now for Michael Backlund, captaincy for the Flames. Sharon Govich, this one gets tied up there, now Morgan Frost. Jake Bean can't hold the line, and this will go back now for the defensive pairing of Ryan Huska's squad and sent back in. Shot board almost dead even, 21-20 for Vancouver, but Calgary's got the go-ahead goal. This one latest on the power play for Jonathan Huberdeau. As this one will be sent in around the embankment, Dustin Wolf will stop it. This will be Pahal, flip this one down the ice, and this should be an easy hybrid ice cold against the Flames.
Easiest days, we see the standings here. Utah's playing right now as they have a wild card 2 spot on the line as well, so they're not the only ones in this battle. They're up 1-0 still. No scoring changes throughout. The only goal was Jack McBain. Ian Cole, Josh Doan assisted on it. So they're up 1-0 on Anaheim, who's also fighting for an outside chance at WC2. Right. It's got a long shot for Anaheim, though.
Yeah, you're right. Anaheim would have to get on a run, but Utah is essentially in the same spot that St. Louis is. So, again, you want one team to get points and not the other. Again, Ian's exactly right about that. As this one slips in toward the right side boards away from Sharon Govich. It was kept in, apparently. And now Blake Coleman ends up getting the steal. Just lofted in the corner for Kevin Rooney. He's off to the races. Gets cut off right upside the gut. Good work there. Connor Garland pushes this one ahead for Brock Besser. Brock Besser will shovel it softly into the corner now as Filipino will give chase. Now, I've used to seeing Filipino on the top line alongside Vancouver. I thought he would still be a member of the Rangers, but that's all for naught. That's changed completely. Mancini. Now we'll take this one left to right. There's a slow up there. Höglander, good pass. Rister, that was looking for a cutting Elias Pettersson. It didn't find him. He gets this one near the right side boards. Hammers, big rebound, scores! It's Pettersson! We're tied at 3!
The moment that Pettersson needed to step up, he did. A wide open rebound to be had, and he made no mistake about it, firing it top shelf. And Dustin Wolf, who was down, did not see that one coming. So Pettersson retrieves the puck at the near corner, sends this back over towards the point for an initial one-time blast. Wolf makes the initial save, but the reaction time for Pettersson was so quick for Wolf to get back up. And by the time Wolf got over to the left side, he barely had enough time to get this puck. Pettersson just beat him out by a smidge.
Man, oh man, you said that the reaction of lighting there for Elias Pettersson. We know we talked about the Four Nations and what didn't work out for Team Sweden. Didn't have any points. They really need Elias Pettersson to get going here, considering after the JT Miller trade, this is supposed to be his team. And this is essentially, I wouldn't even say Stanley Cup playoff type game, but this has got to be that same type of instrument between these two. That's a huge goal for Pettersson. 6:20 left to go in the third. Vancouver now has the edge of the shot board, 3-3. And all that's remained to be seen is who's going to get the next one here. But 6 goals is probably way more than Alec and I were expecting between these two. Coronado will send this one into the corner. Now Quinn Hughes. He will pick this one back up. Number 43 got it in full flight. Member of U of M, send this one around the end boards. Reverse hit. And Zary trying to find it now in the mix of a couple of Kiefer Sherwood. Rasmus Anderson off the tie-up. It's Zary. Now he's being held in behind the net of Dustin Wolf. 5:40 left to go in the third. Pettersson is 14th at the 13-16 marker is unassisted. Not sure why. I didn't think that was touched by anyone else. Hronek, they can't hold it in. Hughes got a back check here. And that was a whole bunch of effort there for Calgary, but they'll just take a change as Vancouver looks to elongate their breakout. Here's an opportunity here for Filip Hronek. He's got that full beard on. Send this one ahead and up the gut. It's stolen by Morgan Frost, and Frost almost gives it right back up. Morgan will pick it back up in his own end, and I'll safely send this one back here for Kevin Ball. Touch pass right up across the flaming sea. Sharon Govich collects across the left wing line. And this one intercepted. Mancini trying to hold on to it. EP, I'm trying to pick this one up now. Sharon Govich lost his stick. It's a 2-on-2. Jake DeBrusque, he's got a goal in this game off the deflection. Here's a chance. High slide. Rebound. Wolf. It's loose. He's down. And he's got it.
And more pushing and shoving after the whistle. So we're not done with it with extracurriculars. As this saga continues, Mancini from the trailer with Wolf got trouble locating the rebound as it fell onto his pads. He kicked out the initial chance, but Vancouver was mad going after this puck. Wolf kept his composure, kept the puck with him, and did not allow anything else. Not before any shoving matches, however. Boy, this rivalry never ceases to entertain us.
Yeah, this game has been quite good, probably even more so than I was expecting. And I thought maybe a 3-1 empty netter at most. We got a 3-3. Dustin Wolf, now he's starting to get really busy. 24 of 27. Kevin Lankinen, 17 of 20. This reminds me a little bit of yesterday. I know Montreal was able to get that win in the end, but it was a third period push by the Canucks that made the Canadians feel a little bit uncomfortable. And dare I say it, Alec, right now, Calgary has got to feel a little bit of the butterflies at the moment.
That's what I feel like as well. Calgary is slowing down a bit in terms of goal scoring, but they are feeling the brunt of the pressure for the Canucks, showing what they can do when they play at their peak, showing what they can do when they play to themselves from last season, showing what they can do when they play composed hockey in the third period and not getting the mental mistakes the best of them all throughout. Regain your composure, and this is what Rick Tockett's team talked about, I believe, in the second intermission. To regain composure and keep your balance right in front of you. Don't let mistakes hamper you.
Nope, and I think you're right on the side of it for Vancouver, especially, we talked about the Flames in that last sequence before he took over there in the top half of the third period with all those shot blocks. 23-11 on the shot blocks in favor of Vancouver. Again, these teams have had a ton of chances on the power play in the mix of 4 opportunities for Calgary, 3 for Vancouver. Shot board 28-20, hit board 26-15 for the Flames. Faceoffs 30-24 for Calgary as well. But hold all tickets as we got about 4:30 left to go here in this third. Morgan Frost and Rooney get all tied up. Dakota Joshua sprawl right across the logo. Pew Suter able to send this one back. This is gloved out of midair. Mackenzie Weegar, as this is just a battle into the neutral zone. And then finally sent in the shot attempts this period are 16-1. Kadri, this one off the end boards. Again, 16-1 for Vancouver. So Calgary just trying to hold on for dear life. I didn't realize it was that lopsided, as this one will be picked up the other way for Rasmus Anderson. So I've never seen a turn that much one way, but that is where we are, as we're in the midst of a 3-3 game. And as Ian mentioned, you don't want to have either one of these other teams pick up some points as we get tied up a little bit. And Coronado goes and picks up his stick. It's going to be an extra man here. Off the drop, O'Connor will give chase. And now Nazem Kadri tried to lift this one out of his own end. Calgary can't get it out. A rolling puck will be just one-handed for Ball. Finally lifted outside the zone, but guess what? Calgary ices it But that shot board, man, oh man, Alec, as I look at that again, Vancouver seems like maybe they're going to be the one that scores next.
It appears that way. But either way, if this is overtime or a shootout, then that's bad news for the teams that are right behind these two in terms of the standings and playoff positioning. Because it's going to be even more harder for these two to gain ground, given that these two would get at least 1 point each, unless there's something to say before the period ends.
Hughes, Suter, and Morgan Frost. Suter wins the draw on the offensive end. Spanier, Quinn Hughes. He doesn't really look that injured from what I've seen today. As it's Frost. Now I try to flip this one out too far for Sharon Govich. Phil Peronic stops it at center ice. This will be in off Dustin Wolf. Yes, that will count as a shot. Shot board is 30-20. As this will be picked up here from Morgan Frost. Back pass. And we'll see if Ryan Huska's squad can get organized, because they are getting haymakered here in this third period, but they're getting up before that 10 count. But they're feeling some bruises. Now Vancouver trying to take this one left to right for the rest of what's left of the third. 2:40 left to go. John Under with you alongside Alec, Malvani, and Genge. Here's a seam pass. Elias Pettersson, who's got the tying goal. This one off of Wolf's stick. Connor Garland shovels it into the corner. Here's Mancini. Now for Garland. Garland trying to pin himself against the wall to kill some more time and wait for some reinforcements as this gets knocked away from Zary. Now to the right side, Doc Keefer Sherwood is no stranger to finish off his hits. Now Mackenzie Weegar. One toucher to Zary. 2:05 left to go in this third. It's Coleman now. Coleman stick lifted from behind by Hedel and then hounded beautifully. But Coleman still trying to one-hand tuck this thing. Farabee late for ball. He fans on the slap shot. Broke his stick. And now Zary has to shovel this one into the corner. Should be enough time for ball to get a stick. Coleman still behind the own net of Kevin Lankinen. Here enters Sharon Govich. Sharon Govich is pinned. 1:40 left to go in this tie game. It's 3-all. Elias Pettersson has the latest, and Rasmus Anderson touches on the hybrid ice.
Now that Calgary's got this icing, it's fair to wonder who is going to score here among each one of these players, unless if Vancouver goes the distance here from their zone. Who do you get to go to for this next goal if you're Calgary? If you want to go to Huberdeau, Kadri, maybe you want to trust Weegar for one in the instance in which he scores. He's got 7 goals, but he can fire one as well for as much as he wants to set up apples for each one of his teammates. Probably get a glimpse of Matt Coronado or Igor Sharangovich, maybe even Connor Zary in that regard. These players they could list out and getting a goal for Calgary if they want to win this.
Yeah, you're right, Alec. You pretty much threw all the names. Again, it can't just be on Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau, but they've been the leaders now as it's consecutive icings for Vancouver. So it's important at this moment in time for Rick Tockett's squad to win a D-zone draw, because if this continues, they're going to be gassed.
Play with fire, you're likely going to get burned. That's what Tampa figured out last night when they iced the puck and Carolina immediately scored. You don't want to have that happen.
Nazem Kadri, big draw. Joel Hanley now will get it toward the right side boards. Huberdeau sends this around for number 91. Kadri, he's trying to go for the backhand behind the net and get the post. That would have been absolutely unreal. He'll send this one down. It's not ice, but he was looking for the highlight. He already has one. And now Weegar will slow this one down. Back in behind the net. He was looking for Hanley. No, he'll take it himself. He'll turn on the burners now. What's left for Weegar? This is a rolling vulcanized rubber, not kept in. It's ball. Now Weegar gain the red line and send it back in. 50 seconds left to go in the third. It's a tie game, 3-all. Vancouver desperate to take 2 points away from Calgary. Calgary wants to do the same. Sharangovich for stir. This will be a 5-hole save for Lankinen, but I want to see that replay for Kadri.
How close was he to scoring another beautiful goal in this game? He took this one, wanted to elevate this one to backhand it towards the far side of the net. He tried to do that to the far side, but unfortunately hits Lankinen's body. Sharangovich comes back the other way after a battle in the neutral zone, and he just finds the 5-hole of Kevin Lankinen. How close was that for Kadri? So close.
It almost seems like he wanted to do the Michigan on that one, and that was close, as it just caught the body, as you said. He was going for the top right post. He was about a half inch away from making this a 4-3 win. This is kept in now. Here's an opportunity off the tie up. Sharangovich. This will be rolling down, closed down by Rasmus Anderson. Will gain the red line. 25 seconds left to go. Kevin Lankinen will back up. It's stolen by the Flames. Sharangovich, right side red line, turn around. This is off the side of the net. Morgan Frost recollects. 15 seconds. Crisscross. Rasmus Anderson. He's in very deep. Centered out in front of the net. And this one knocked away. Flames will get puck possession. Kevin Ball. Looks like we're going to go to OT. Tied at 3. And we'll see who's going to take it. Both teams pick up a point.
So now we have a scenario which Utah, St. Louis, and Anaheim don't want in their playoff ambitions. Overtime in this game, so both teams get at least 1 point. Boy, has this been so tight. The back and forth tight checking, and this is the end result of a game that's been so close, we can't even call this from the naked eye. 5 minutes of extra hockey. Buckle up, let's get ready.
I kind of wonder, the third period was heavily dominated by Vancouver as far as their shots. And then Nazem Kadri might have had the most dangerous one. As we're looking at the October 9th game in which we covered, that Connor Zary special on the 3-on-3. If they can get those type of hands back, that's why I say number 47 could be a future 30-goal scorer.
I like that take there for Calgary. Can bode well down the line for their aspirations of developing young talent. In terms of overtime goal scorers, if we're going to have to pick 2 guys that can win it here for each team, for Calgary, I'm going to go with Matt Coronado, and Vancouver, I'll be riding with Brock Besser.
I'm going to go Connor Garland for Vancouver, and I got to go Nazem.
Oh, the highlight reel, man. Of course, that not bad selection for Calgary either. Connor Garland, also like that one.
I try not to take too much of the easy button, but Nazem Kadri's been all over this too much, and Jonathan Huberdeau's already got a couple, so I don't think he's going to find the score sheet again, but who knows? Calgary would like to see him get a hat trick. Again, we did not select Quinn Hughes. He's still available, and he might be one of those guys we're also thinking about as we're still waiting for this puck to drop. But with this 3-on-3 time and space, I kind of wonder if Calgary will be happy with that because they just got pushed around in that third period.
Yeah, that's the best thing to happen for Calgary because they were bullied in that third period because of the dominance that Vancouver had at their offensive end. With more than quadrupling the shots on goal in that third period, it wasn't even close. Calgary was outright dominating that third period. And the fact that this went to overtime should be a sigh of relief for Dustin Wolf and company.
Yeah, Dustin Wolf was pretty spectacular in that third period, even with all the shot blocks. And Kevin Lankinen, that's a huge set of stones. We talk about it again. You got to get the start off the back-to-back. I know most people would say that's no big deal. It doesn't happen very often, but he's really the guy that he's got to be if Vancouver's going to make the postseason. It's got to be Lankinen.
It has to be. It's in Vancouver, 5-10 in overtime. Calgary, 3-9 in overtime this year.
Nazem Kadri wins it back from Elias Pettersson. What are we going to have here? Are we going to need this whole OT? Are we going to need a shootout? It's a 3-3 game. Again, Calgary hasn't played since the Saturday side into Wednesday. You got to think they got the fresher legs. Vancouver, excellent work for them just to pick up the point even off the back-to-back. Nazem Kadri is getting hounded by Pettersson. He won't just give up there. And now Mackenzie Weegar try to get this one started from left to right. Weegar now finds the entry off this 3-on-3. Coughs it right up here to Hughes. And it's a 2-on-1 immediately. DeBrusque with the puck. Sends it across. Rister stopped by Wolf. As this one's picked up now for Vancouver. Here is Hughes. And off the sauce. Pettersson now will go ahead and play back. Play for the captaincy in Quinn. Quinn Hughes now, number 43, slowly enters the right side line. Hedl, full speed, does not get to him. Huberdeau try to get that steal back in behind his own end. Nazem Kadri's been out there for a long time. Shot board is 30-23. Next goal is going to win this one, whether it's now or the shootout. It's picked up here for Rasmus Anderson. Anderson walks in toward the right side wing, one-handed, loops around. Left for Frost, and this one's picked off right in the middle of the circles before he can get the shot off. Quinn Hughes will spin in his own end. 3:30 left to go in OT, should we need it. as Hughes has been about 27 minutes of ice time right now. Connor Garland, he's out there, number 8, with that jersey tuck. Connor Garland sends this one back to Dean. Picked up near Besser, shoots. He missed it all. As this one catch the glass, this will stay in play, but a rolling puck will go out of the zone. 3:05 left to go in this OT. Garland now. He's going to race right up across center ice and then pull back near the right side dot. High slot. It's Garland. Now Hronek. He'll elect to go back. Vancouver keeping the possession. That's going to cause the Calgary fans to boo, but it's pretty much half and half from what I'm seeing inside the building. Hronek, one more time. Now he'll circle back across the Flaming Sea. 2:40 left to go in this OT should we need it all. EP40 back on the ice. It'll be Sharangovich with a little bit of a wash. He was the one that got it to OT. Hughes now in the high slot. He'll spin back. Vancouver not electing to shoot right now, not giving me much to talk about. Here is Hughes. Now to the right side. He tried to go for the top right post, and this one is out of play.
Calgary was something to end this, but Morgan Frost gets pickpocketed on the puck retrieve by Quinn Hughes. Hughes wanted to end it himself on a 2-on-1 chance where that was Elias Pettersson, but a quick defensive recovery by Nazem Kadri as Pettersson gets turned away. Hughes activates pass Connor Zary for a quick shot from the right circle on his offside, and Dustin Wolf meets him in kind. So still no winner just yet, but Rick Tocchet wants to go for the jugular and use his timeout.
That pretty much only means one thing to me, Alec. You're putting Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson back out on the ice.
That may be the strategy. You want to get your best guys onto the ice, well rested, and get enough breathing time for all of them. See, Ryan Huska is discussing with Jonathan Huberdeau and Nazem Kadri. I believe he's going to counter with his best guys as well. Best players against best players. This strategy makes a lot of sense for Ryan Huska in the counter.
So Quinn Hughes in his first game back, Alec, I would say even he's had a better than a B+ game. I would even give him an A-.
Yeah, an A- game, that could be agreeable upon us. He has been his same old usual self, sticking away opponents and being the two-way force that he has been. Offensively, he's there. Defensively, also there. Well, he's on the bench to begin this next sequence, and so it's not Quinn Hughes onto the ice. So I believe it's someone else. They're putting Pettersson out there, so it's also DeBrusk there. Hronek also out there.
A little bit of a surprise, but again, the first game back, again, I guess I should have not spoken that into existence. EP40 now trying to get the draw off the tie. Mackenzie Weegar will get it. Now Weegar trying to get Hronek off the back skate. He's got Kadri with him. Here's a shot, and he missed it all. They couldn't even find Nazem Kadri there. And now here's a dangerous chance the other way. Pettersson and Hronek missed the net. Rebound opportunity. Wolf was down doing the full splits, but I don't think the puck got there. And now Weegar all tied up. It's DeBrusk that ends up fighting out of all of that. And Quinn Hughes is back out on the ice, and we can take a breath. I'm not sure what just happened there on the side for Dustin Wolf, but that's some reflexes. As Elias Pettersson now has got it near the right side dot. We'll send this one across the embankment and off the boards. And now a lot of puck possession here for Vancouver in this OT. 1:30 left to go in it should we need it. Hughes now has it. He'll sauce it back directly here for Pius Suter. Will open the scoring. It is Hughes. Hughes now. High slot. He thought about it, and he'll just skate backwards here. So Vancouver now. Hughes has the edge. He's got Suter with him. This one deflected a couple times by Weegar. Good play, but it's still very busy. And now back check for Jonathan Huberdeau. That was really needed. Huberdeau's outstretched pass. And this was dog-tired there for Nazem Kadri. This could be a bad line change. Hughes now off the spin and turn. Calgary just trying to recover. Connor Garland. 45 seconds left in the OT. Garland now will pull back. A lot of this here for Vancouver, more than we usually see from any other team. Garland, now Hughes. It's Besser now. Send this one back for Quinn. Quinn, stutter step off the stick lift, gets it back. Besser holds the line. Besser now right side down. Besser wrister. This one off the top of the mesh, I believe, off the glass. It was still in play. Sent back around for Hronek. Down to 15 seconds. Still looking dangerous enough for Vancouver to win it. Here's a chance. This one will be saved and go all the way back down the ice. Connor Garland's got to hurry if he wants to get something off here. Garland, here's a chance. Toward the right side backhand. What a save by Wolf. Down to the final second. Wolf saves that too. We go to a shootout.
Oh, this is one of the best overtime sequences for Dustin Wolf that we've seen in a while. Calgary has been stuck on defense mode for most of this overtime as Vancouver continued their onslaught from the third period. A 2-on-1 back the other way for Mackenzie Weegar. He wanted to fire the game winner home, but there was a good save by Kevin Lankinen. Then a cross-ice pass from Elias Pettersson got his own rebound after the miss, and Wolf with his outstretched skate to shut that one down. Another chance that went off the inside the post. Almost was a game winner for Vancouver. And then one last time, Wolf for good measure makes one last glorious save on Garland. And then Vancouver fires a shot well after the clock expired. We go to a shootout. This has been a full-on entertainer.
Oh, well, one of these teams just quit.
Alec, you take the shootout.
All right, here we go. Something to even this all out, I suppose, as both goaltenders, Wolf and Vladar, meet with one another. Wolf is going to get the nod for Ryan Huska's squad. See how Rick Tocchet counters up on this shootout. Kevin Lankinen is ready. Dustin Wolf is ready. So who stands tall between these two number 32s?
That's the question, because, again, as good as Dustin Wolf is, how much shootout experience does he have? Kevin Lankinen's been around this game for quite a while, so that's just one thing to keep in mind for me.
He's an established veteran himself, going back to Chicago, then Nashville, and then Vancouver. So Calgary will go first in this shootout. They're up first, and it's round one. Out there onto the ice right now is Morgan Frost, one of the acquisitions that Calgary acquired from Philadelphia in the Joel Farabee and Andrei Kuzmenko trade. Frost onto the right circle, now onto the legal slot. Frost up and over. It stayed out thanks to Kevin Lankinen.
Good positional goaltending there for Kevin Lankinen as that was near the right dot. Frost on the forehand, works his way backhand, tries to lift, and Lankinen says no, stands tall there.
He wanted the double move, but Lankinen was not falling for it. Elias Pettersson against Dustin Wolf. How does he fare against EP40? Score! Didn't flinch.
That's a little nasty, a little no-look 5-hole there for EP40. That is a veteran move, and I'm pretty sure Dustin Wolf could have been tracking that puck all day as it went to the 5-hole.
That's one that he wanted to have back. He did have that 5-hole covered up. Now Ryan Huska is going with Rasmus Andersson, a defenseman. Rarely do defensemen go early here in the shootout, but here's the case. Andersson stutter steps. Andersson shut down by Lankinen.
It's not looking good here for the Flames on that side, Alec. I have to say it. I think Nazem Kadri's probably go next, but Kevin Lankinen did not buy anything Rasmus Andersson was selling. I don't think he sold well.
If Jake DeBrusk scores here, it's over. If Dustin Wolf shuts this down, it goes to a third round. DeBrusk closing. DeBrusk firing. Missed it. Might have got a piece of Wolf's stick.
I think you're right. Piece it out with the stick there. DeBrusk, you knew what he was going for. Top right corner. It's a must score now for the Flames. Again, that's what happens when you elect to go here early. And we'll see what happens. They really want to get this second point. This would be huge for the Canucks. It's Huberdeau.
Huberdeau closing. Huberdeau to the slot. He scores!
5-hole. And that one gets it done. That was a little slow pitch softball there for Jonathan Huberdeau, but he'll take it.
Yeah, 5-hole all the way, exactly the way that Elias Pettersson scored his shootout goal. Now round number 3. Pius Suter must score to win this for Vancouver. If no goal, it goes to a fourth round. Suter for the right circle, now down the middle. Suter stutters, and Wolf keeps this alive.
That's a good stop there for Wolf near the right post. He stays tall, keeps the stick there. Suter, he was trying to get a little bit of a head fake. Just couldn't make it happen there. He kind of ran out of room, too.
He ran out of room to fire this. If only he elevated this one, you would think. Now Calgary. On round number 4, they go Yegor Sharangovich to the middle. Backtracks. Now moves up front. Couldn't elevate. Lankinen shuts it down.
Yeah, Lankinen, excellent work there near the right side of that red line. Again, as you mentioned beautifully, goes for the backhand, tries to go for the elevation. Lankinen completely cuts him off as he runs out of space. Good work there for Kevin.
Connor Garwin can end it. So now he starts up from center ice, touching this puck, moving up for the far side. Now cutting to the middle. Garwin shoots and scores! It's over! Vancouver wins in a shootout.
Well, I took Connor Garland. I guess I got to take him in the shootout more than the OT winner. That one is going to be big for Vancouver because, again, that puts them into a playoff spot. The Calgary Flames do get the point with a game in hand, so it's not the worst-case scenario. But I think you look back at it, Alec, and you say that third period, I think Calgary, and I know this goes without saying, they just got pushed around a little bit too much, especially for a team that was off a back-to-back and should be without some energy. And this is even in a split of the series. That's going to make things interesting in the tiebreaker as well. I know there's a lot left to do, but this was probably the most important game of the season for the Vancouver Canucks, and Connor Garland plays the hero.
Yes, indeed. Connor Garwin, the hero in the shootout. And he with that shootout wrister right down for the middle after cutting to the inside from the outside left. He gets the Canucks to know we're still in this alive and well. There's a lot of hockey to be played for, and there's a playoff spot to the line. A lot of season to be had, and the winner to be scored right there at the right place and right time. Vancouver showing why they were a playoff team last year. This third period showed exactly that.
Well, this was one heck of a game to jump back into. It's been a while for me. I know, Alec, you've been able to get your feet wet. Thank you for joining me for this one. This was a much better game than I even could have expected here, as Vancouver takes the winner in the shootout 4-3. The Flames do pick up a point. Again, that's going to make things interesting when they play on Friday against the Colorado Avalanche. Things do not get much easier. And on the other side, I know Ian profiled this as well, but I just want to close this out as far as the broadcast. Vancouver has an opportunity to do some damage. They got Chicago and Utah at home in the next couple of days in the mix of the weekend side before they play against Winnipeg to close out their homestand. So if Vancouver can get things going in through this weekend at Rogers, they can do themselves justice here and take some points against teams that are directly behind them.
That's how the feeling it's going to be for Vancouver. They're in a good position for them to go onto the schedule in the future, right down for the road. There are key opponents to be had. You mentioned Chicago, but also on the near future for them down for the line. Given their schedule, there are some key opponents that they could take down. Right down for the line. Chicago, Utah, those two, you will believe that they will get wins over. Winnipeg's going to be their true test next Tuesday because that's a clear-cut playoff team. We know that's a foregone conclusion that the Jets would make the playoffs given that they're tops of the Central Division. How will the Canucks do at Rogers against Winnipeg? Only time's going to tell here.
We will find that out. I know, Alec, I'll probably get a chance to maybe work with you hopefully before birthday side turnover for me, and then our opening day game in between the Dodgers and the Tigers. It's going to be a little bit weird seeing Jack Flaherty accept this award and then jump back over with the Tigers, but that's going to be what happens. Thank you for joining me again. This one was a lot of fun, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, John. Nice to have you back here.
I appreciate that as always. We'll talk soon.
See ya.